Orleans, and the Saints are favored by 5.5 points. The same Saints that everybody made jokes about during my day are now one of the best teams in the league. The New Orleans Saints have been a struggling football team. Their only claim to fame is that they've been in almost every football follies film ever made. For 20 years, they were the NFL's version of Our Gang comedy. It even got so bad that the diehard fans came to the game in disguise. They also started calling the team the Aints.
Are you embarrassed by wearing a bag?
Not really. The people don't know who I am. We would be more embarrassed if we wasn't wearing the bag.
At least it protects my identity.
In 1986, it all changed. Enter new head coach Jim Mora, and a new era began. No more follies, no more bags, no more Aints. In New Orleans, the Saints have come marching in. New Orleans, famous for the French Quarter and the Mardi Gras, but not so famous for its football team, because for a long time, the New Orleans Saints were one of the worst teams in the National Football League. But last year, they finished with one of the best records in the league, and this year they picked up right where they left off. Well, everybody's talking about the 49ers and the Rams. It's the New Orleans Saints that are in first place. And all that boogieing that they do down here in the French Quarter, they're now boogieing in the Superdome.
He's a dancer now in the NFL, and he does the Benson boogie on the football field.
Yeah, Tom Benson has reason to dance. The Saints currently have the longest winning streak in the NFL. Led by running back Reuben Mays and company, the Saints have put together a strong football team, not only on offense, but also with an aggressive defense anchored by Ricky Jackson, a major change from the old days.
I think the biggest difference now is we get behind and we're expecting ourselves to win. And if we get behind, everyone just saying, well, somebody's going to have to step up and make a big play, and it happens. So now we have the exact opposite attitude that we're supposed to win. So we'll go out and finish it up and find a way to win instead of finding a way to lose.
Finding a way to lose was the Saints' specialty in the old days, but no more. The Saints are a team that finds a way to win, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams.
We've got confidence now, and like I say, our guys are not overconfident, nor do they think that they can just show up and win, because that's certainly not the case, because we've had to struggle in every game that we've played in, and none of them have been easy. But I think they, again, feel like if whatever game they go into, they have a chance to win it.
Right, we're more experienced now, you know. Before, the game plan wasn't as crucial as it is now. You know, now they give you a game plan now, kind of complicated for us to understand. So I know another team can't get a beat on it as good.
The rest of the league also can't get a beat on quarterback Bobby Hebert, who's already thrown for 12 touchdowns. But the key to this team, like all winning teams, is total dedication.
This is the type of philosophy that Jim Finks and Tom Benson try to stimulate and enforce here in the organization, and it carries right down into the coaches and the players. And this is what it takes to be a winner, a complete, cooperation from everybody in the organization.
A very important part of this success is the fact that Jim Finks is a general manager. He was very instrumental in 3 Super Bowl appearances of the Minnesota Vikings. He was also responsible for resurrecting the Chicago Bears during the time they made their Super Bowl run. And when you have successful people at this level of your organization, it's bound to trickle down. In just 2 short years, the Saints have found respect. I've always thought when I played that the talent on each team is very even. The only difference between a winning team and a losing team is that the winning team believes they can. And the way the Saints have won so far, each week coming from behind, it's only increased their confidence. It's taken over 20 years, but finally in New Orleans, the Saints have come marching in.
And now the thing I can't wait to see is Tom Benson on Dance Fever with Denny Terrio.
I think he goes to Soul Train first, then Dance Fever.
Well, they got him booked all over the place, and we're booked for this commercial break. We'll come back to wrap things up on NFL Live right after this.
The National Broadcasting Company presents the National Football League. Today, from the Louisiana Superdome, it's the Los Angeles Raiders versus the New Orleans Saints. Brought to you by the new generation of Oldsmobile. Step into the future now at your Oldsmobile dealer. By Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by AT&T, the right choice.
sellout crowd of over 69,000 will pack the Louisiana Superdome this afternoon as the New Orleans Saints put the NFL's longest winning streak on the line against the Los Angeles Raiders. Hello, everybody. I'm Mel Proctor along with Joe Namath, and Bourbon Street is jumping these days, Joe. The Saints have won 6 in a row. They're in sole possession of first place for the first time since 1979, and as we check our NFL spotlight, obviously quarterback Bobby Hebert stands out.
Oh, he's the best-kept secret in the NFL. To me, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. But Bobby Hebert may not be the key today. Offensive tackle Bill Kantz, replacing the injured Stan Brock, is going to be called upon to do the job, and he's a little rusty. The defense of the Saints, however, they have 4 of the best linebackers in the game. And the cornerbacks, to me, is the big question. They don't have the speed to really keep up with these fast Raider receivers.
You mentioned Bill Kantz. He'll be matched up against Greg Townsend, an outstanding pass rusher, so we'll keep our eye on that matchup. You know, speaking of the Raiders, Joe, is there a quarterback controversy developing?
No, I don't think so. Hey, Schrader is good, and he's getting better with playing time. It's nice to have Steve Berline come in the game with the hot hand when the offense goes flat. But hey, the star of this Raider offense is Bo Jackson. He's the man that's going to make the big plays. Catch the pass, make the long run. Their defense, however, well, they haven't been good against the run all season. Without Howie Long, they're going to have a tough time. They need to really shut down the Saints on first and second down to have a chance defensively today.
The Los Angeles Raiders playing without the injured Howie Long in the black sweatshirt. He's certainly a key. Al Davis says he's a penetrator. He's the guy who disrupts the opposition's offense, and we really miss him. They're also without 3 other starters defensively, and that's a major concern for first-year head coach Mike Shanahan. Jim Morrow, meanwhile, has done a great job rebuilding the Saints. They were 7-9 in his first year. Last year, he guided them to a 12-3 record, their first winning season, their first appearance ever in the playoffs. This year, they are 6-1 and in first place. 36-year-old Mike Shanahan, 4 years, the offensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos. This is the first time he's ever been a head coach, longtime college assistant. At the age of 36, though, he is not the youngest head coach in Raider history. A fellow named Al Davis was 33 years old when he took over as head coach in 1963, and John Madden was 32 when he became the Raiders head coach. The Raiders have won the toss and will be receiving. Morton Anderson, who certainly could be a key, a great place kicker, connected on 80% of his field goal attempts in his 7-year career. Meanwhile, his counterpart, Chris Barr, has struggled.
Barr's had an off year. He's only made 2 of 7 field goals from 30 yards or longer. But, hey, the Raiders are happy with him. He came through when they needed it up at Denver, and so they're not really upset with Barr.
And Tim Brown, the Heisman Trophy winner from Notre Dame, will not run back kicks today. And that is a factor because he leads the NFL in kickoff returns. And this kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beer. And we are underway from the Superdome. Stephon Adams replacing Brown, brings it back. And he's dropped inside the 20, so already the presence of Tim Brown, the absence of Brown is felt, averaging better than 30 yards per kickoff return, and Adams can bring it out only to the 19. Tackle made by Buford Jordan, and here's Jay Schrader, the former Washington Redskin, making his 5th start as Raider quarterback. Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson, 2 Heisman Trophy winners in the backfield. Mervin Fernandez replaces the injured Tim Brown, who may play when the Raiders use 4 wide receivers. Andy Parker, the tight end. Mosbar, Hanna, Lewis, Wilkerson, and Graves up front. First down at the 19. Bo Jackson. And Jackson breaks a big one on first down all the way out to the 44-yard line. Brett Maxey makes the stop on Jackson in his first carry.
Just give it to Bo. Watch him go. Jackson just needs a little hole, but this time he gets a big hole on the right side. Marcus Allen leads out front to take out the cornerback, and then it's the rest. It's all Bo. With those kind of holes, though, anyone from the Raiders can go.
In his first game last week against Kansas City, carried 21 times for 70 yards, and he said he was really sore and banged up this week. But he knew only a handful of the plays going into last week's game. He's learned a little more of the offense this week and should be better prepared. First down to 44. Marcus Allen in motion. Bo Jackson again. Two big runs by Bo Jackson on his first 2 carries. Sam Mills chasing him out of bounds. The Saints' major concern, the speed of the wide receivers for the Raiders, but now they've got to be concerned with Jackson, the way he's running the football. Up front for the Saints, Warren, Elliott, and Wilkes. The strength of this team, the linebackers, Ricky Jackson, the big play man, Mills, the most consistent, Pat Swilling, the best pass rusher on the team. And the secondary may be tested today. They play a lot of zone defense. They don't have the great speed, and that may present a problem with the Raiders' outstanding outside speed. First down to 36. This time it's Marcus Allen. And Allen is to the 33 where Frank Warren makes the tackle.
Well, if you wonder where Bo Jackson is, folks, he's over there on the sideline. I don't know exactly what happened to him, but when he went out of bounds, he could have pulled a muscle or hurt himself. I see that they're just testing his right leg on the sideline right now. With those 2 first offensive runs, you'd like this man in the game. But we'll wait and give you word on what happened to Bo later.
Second down 7 at the 33-yard line. Allen the lone setback. Vance Mueller has replaced Jackson. They split him out wide to the left. Screen pass incomplete, intended for Marcus Allen. Ricky Jackson putting a lot of pressure on Schrader. Jackson, who loves to blitz.
Well, he gets some pressure back there on Schrader, but the thing is, he's going against rookie Rory Graves, number 60 on the right side. The thing is, Schrader didn't really have anywhere to go with the ball because number 94, there you see the pressure, but Schrader's throwing screen pass all the way. Number 94, defensive nose tackle Tony Elliott, was in the way of the screen pass.
The Raiders using a shotgun for the first time this year, and Schrader didn't play in the shotgun before because the Redskins also didn't use it. So this has been a big adjustment for him. Downfield he goes for Fernandez, and the pass is out of bounds, incomplete. Brett Maxey picked it off, but he was out of bounds. Mervyn Fernandez, starting in place with Tim Brown, was the intended receiver.
Well, I'll tell you something. Lack of playing time is not the reason for this poor play by Schrader. I mean, he must not have seen the safety. The safety is back there all the way waiting for the ball, and Brett Maxey should have had an interception. That was a poor read on Schrader's part. Here you see the safety waiting on the ball. Hey, you're throwing it to the wrong guy, Jay.
But Chris Barr is in to attempt a 51-yard field goal attempt. He's only 2 for 7 from 30 yards out. He's really struggled this year. This one is running out of gas, and it's no good. So Barr, who's now made only 5 of 11 field goal attempts, misfires, and we are scoreless in New Orleans. On his first 2 carries from scrimmage, Bo Jackson ran for 45 yards, but he apparently is injured. Now the sideline's being attended to.
You know, this is kind of a letdown for the Raider team because he inspired not only the offense, but the defense. Matt Millen last week talked about his presence out there, his air of confidence and cockiness, and says it helps the whole team. Without him, right now, I guess the Raiders are down a little bit. We'll see.
So despite the running of Jackson, the Raiders' drive stalled, with Barr missing a 51-yard field goal, and the Saints take over at the 33. Bobby Hebert having the best year of his career, completing almost 64% of his passes. And the give is to Ruben Mays, who's starting the game in place of Dalton Hilliard. Hilliard has a turf toe, and so Mays will start. For the Saints, Bobby Hebert is a quarterback. Mays and Ironhead Hayward, the rookie from Pitt, the running backs. Eric Martin, the team's leading receiver. Hill, a deep threat. John Tice doing a good job at tight end with Hobie Brenner hurt. Dombrowski, a former #1 pick. Kontz is the key, taking over for the injured Stan Brock on the front line. Kontz back up throughout his career, and Brock tore up a knee Thursday in practice. Bill Kontz will have his hands full with number 93, Greg Townsend of the Raiders.
Well, the reason Kontz is so important, and the reason it's important for the Raiders to stop this first and second down surge by the Saints, is they've converted 54 of 101 third down conversions. You have to put them in third and long situations.
Second down and 8 for the Saints. Lonzel Hill in motion. Hebert over the middle, complete to Hill, and he's got a first down at midfield. Russell Carter, the ex-Jet, making the stop on Hill, who comes from good stock. His father, J.D. Hill, was an outstanding receiver with the Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions.
Well, you'll see Hill coming from the left side of your screen across the center. And number 21, Ron Fellows, closing to make the tackle and misses the tackle. That allows Hill to get some extra yardage. And his daddy, I want to tell you, was a fine receiver with the Buffalo Bills. He could go get it.
First down at the 50. Dalton Hilliard, 21, who's in a tailback now for the Saints. And it's Hilliard off left tackle. Pickup of 8 yards for Dalton Hilliard, and Jim Dombrowski, the left tackle, threw a big block to spring him. Van McElroy, the Raiders' free safety, coming up to make the tackle. And the word on Bo Jackson is a slight pulled hamstring, his right hamstring. He is expected back. Yeah, he's got a lot of muscles to pull, doesn't he?
He sure does, but my question is, if there is a slight injury, why chance the rest of the season right now? They're going to see how this Raider offense moves the ball before they bring Bo back.
Second down 4 for the Saints. Hilliard hit behind the line of scrimmage by number 90, Mike Wise, the 4th-round pick 2 years ago out of Cal Davis. The Raiders are banged up defensively with Howie Long out. Townsend, who normally comes in on pass rushing situations, starts in place of Long. Bill Pickell, a fine nose tackle. Wise on the right side. Lyndon King, the ex-Charger, and Rod Martin, a 12-year veteran, the outside backers. Millen very tough against the run. Ron Fellows making his second start. They're still without Stacy Turan and Terry McDaniel, a rookie cornerback, who would be starters. They're both hurt. Hebert from the shotgun on 3rd and 5. And again, it's Lonzel Hill for a first down. Joe, Hebert's made a remarkable transition from a freewheeling, high-powered offense in the USFL to this rather conservative passing attack, hasn't he?
You have to credit that to coaching. Jim Morris coaching in particular, and offensive coordinator Carl Smith. Now, Hebert looks for the short man all the way, and Lonzel Hill's able to get open. Now, Hebert's only been sacked 9 times this season, but he'll hold that ball in the pocket. He won't scramble around, and you can cause a fumble by hitting him from the backside.
The Saints, the best in the NFL at 3rd down conversions, 53.4%, well above the league average. Play action fake. Hebert gets it away to Hayward, and it's incomplete. Greg Hayward, despite weighing 250 pounds, a surprisingly good pass catcher. Has soft hands, very quick feet. Bobby Hebert, a local product from Cutoff, Louisiana, about 60 miles from New Orleans, of Cajun ancestry.
There's Malcolm Taylor. Now, he forced the incompletion of that play. He made the penetration. He's the one that got back there in Hebert's face. That's the kind of penetration they've been lacking with the absence of Howie Long.
Second down at the 34-yard line. Hilliard hit by Lyndon King. The Saints have a lot of depth in their backfield with Craig Hayward, Reuben Mays, and Dalton Hilliard, the leading rusher coming into the game.
No gain on the carry. 3rd and 10.
Big game in the AFC Central, a battle for first place. The Bengals have taken a 7-0 lead over Houston.
I think Tampa Bay scored in the first quarter.
That's their first score in the first quarter this year. They've been outscored 71-0 in the first quarter of games this season. Dallas leading the Eagles in the first period. Oh, a 3rd down situation now for the Saints. Hebert with plenty of time. Eric Martin is out of bounds. Made the catch out of bounds. So it'll bring up 4th down.
You see, what made it this time was the Raiders were able to stop the Saints on their first 2 downs. They put them in a long yardage situation, a 3rd and 10. Hebert hasn't liked the long yardage situations, and I don't know many offenses that do. The receiver runs a nice move on Washington and is open, but Hebert's pass is a little bit long, and he goes out of bounds with it. But you put those Saints in a 3rd and long situation, you're putting them into a game that they haven't had to play this season.
And the most accurate field goal kicker in NFL history, Morton Anderson, to try a 51-yarder. He's 0 for 1 from 50 yards plus this year. And this kick is good. So local charity, Kicks for Kids, will also profit each time he makes a field goal. Money is contributed to the Children's Hospital here in New Orleans. So a worthy cause. And Morton Anderson has given the Saints a 3-0 lead. Mel Proctor with Joe Namath back at the Louisiana Superdome, where a 51-yard field goal by Morton Anderson has given the Saints a lead. That banner refers to what has been a somewhat soft schedule so far for the Saints, but it'll get much tougher. They have put together a 6-1 mark against teams who have a combined 17-32 record, and now the schedule really gets tough. They'll face 3 teams who are in first place, 4 teams who are in second place in the coming weeks. Deep kick by Anderson. Stephon Adams will not run it out. It's another of Morton Anderson's strength, his ability to kick the ball deep.
Such a plus for a team to have a good kicking game. A good punter like Jeff Gossett of the Raiders that can keep you bottled up, or Morton Anderson to keep the team starting from minus territory on kickoffs and giving you that long field goal to lift the offense and defense.
And Bo Jackson has not returned to the Raider lineup. He carried for 45 yards in his first 2 runs in scrimmage and then pulled a hamstring and has not returned. So the Raiders have in the backfield Marcus Allen 32 and Steve Strahan 39. First down to 20, 3-0 Saints. And around to Mervin Fernandez. Good for about 9 yards. Fernandez, who had a great career in Canada, starting today in place of the injured Tim Brown.
Fernandez is a big, strong receiver. He's got the speed to go along with it. He knows how to go after the ball. This last play was all Fernandez's speed because Sam Mills, the linebacker for the Saints, was in hot pursuit. Fernandez just outran him.
Now, if you're a quarterback, Joe, 2nd and 1, is this a good place maybe to try to hit something deep?
It certainly is, but I wouldn't do it at this stage of the game. I'd try and get my first down, get this offense rolling a little better. Be sure of the first down.
2nd and 1 for the Raiders. Marcus Allen. Good individual effort by Allen, who was almost trapped for a loss and fights his way out to the 35, where Jim Brooks makes the tackle.
Marcus Allen is sensational. I've enjoyed watching this guys over the years. He does it all. He blocks, he runs, he catches. Now that cast he's wearing on his left hand, that's not a help for him today because he can't push off blockers or tacklers as he normally would, and he almost lost the ball right there. So Marcus is playing with a slight handicap wearing a cast.
Saints leading 3-0 with 8.5 remaining in the first quarter. First off for the Raiders at the Los Angeles 35. Schrader overthrows Mervin Fernandez. Dan Jakes back in coverage for the Saints. Schrader still adjusting to a new offense, an offense that's much different than the one he used in Washington. The Bengals have opened up a 14-0 lead over the Oilers.
Yeah, but you know, adjusting to that new offense had nothing to do with his last pass. He just flat threw it over his head. He has a tendency to misfire and misfire high with his passes.
With the Steelers leading Denver, the Steelers have lost 6 in a row. 2nd down 10 for Jay Schrader. Played collegiately with UCLA, although he was not a starter. Strahan fumbles the football, and it's recovered by the Saints. Now, wait a minute. The umpire initially indicated the Saints had recovered. Now he's pointing the other way.
Yeah, well, he's going to get overruled most of the time when the guy in the white hat points the other way. And the man in the white hat, of course, ladies and gentlemen, is the referee. He's the boss of that official team.
That's Jerry Seaman, the referee today.
We'll see the ball get on the ground, and it looks like Strahan's going to get it back. I think that's a good call, Mel.
The umpire, Rex Stewart, initially indicated the Saints had the ball, and then Jerry Seaman apparently had a better vantage point, ruling that it was recovered by the Raiders. 3rd down and 8. Raiders have done a pretty good job protecting the football. Saints showing a blitz. Now they drop out of it. Schrader with plenty of time. And this one is picked off by Reggie Sutton. Well, after failing to get the turnover on a fumble, the Saints do get it on Reggie Sutton's first interception. Andy Parker, the tight end, was the intended receiver.
Well, it appeared that Jay Schrader had all day long to find the receiver, but the reason for that was the Saints were playing back in a soft zone defense and the corners could react to the ball. We'll be right back. Well, we mentioned earlier the lack of speed by the cornerbacks of the Saints. So what would they do? They'd play zone defense. Now, they drop 8 guys into coverage. That's the reason Schrader has so much time to look around here. But when he finally finds a receiver and lets it go, well, hey, Brent Maxey's watching all the way. He sees where the play's going, and he comes from the top of your screen right across to catch the pass. That's Reggie Sutton, excuse me, to make the interception. It was a poor decision, I have to say, on Schrader's behalf.
And a doubly costly play. Not only did the Raiders lose the football, they also lost their left guard, Charlie Hanna. The center, Bill Lewis, was blocked into him, and it looked like it might be a knee injury as he's put onto a stretcher and will be carried from the Superdome. Big blow as they lose the 12-year veteran from Alabama.
Well, when we look at this replay, you'll see Charlie Hanna, number 73, on the left side of your screen, the second player in. He drops back into pass protection. There he is on the left, number 73. And you'll see the 3 men in the middle collapse and fall on the back of Charlie Hanna's leg. And that's where he hurts his left leg. Boy, I hate to see that. You know, you never know when you're going to hurt your knee out there, get hurt anytime. Other guys, they fall on you from the backside. There's just no way to prevent this kind of an injury. It's just bad luck.
In fact, you have a PhD in knee injuries, don't you?
Oh, the only thing I thank God about is they are only knee injuries. It's not a serious kind of injury that's going to put us under, you know what I mean? A knee injury you can come back from and live a long time, get around quite well.
You had, what, 7 knee operations?
Yeah, but... and they hurt a little bit. It bothers. It doesn't slow my golf game down much, Mel. It hurts by running around trying to keep up with my daughter Jessica a little bit. But other than that, I don't need to run, so I'm just fine.
So Mike Shanahan's injury list continues to grow. He's already lost Todd Christensen, Howie Long. Talk about the injuries in the secondary, and now an injury to Charlie Hanna. And Bo Jackson shaken up early in the game, now on his feet.
And you know, the running game is so important for the success of a football team. Hey, you take out Bo Jackson, one of the premier runners in the league, and then you take out one of your best blockers in Charlie Hanna, the offense is going to have some problems.
So Charlie Hanna taken from the field. I would assume John Gesick will replace him.
You know, one thing about this Saints offense, though, it's not an explosive type offense. I think the Raiders are going to be able to keep this score tight, and with their own explosiveness, especially with Lofton, Marcus Allen, and Fernandez, they can keep this game tight going into the fourth quarter. They'll have a good chance to pull it out.
Well, the Saints take over first down at the 47. They lead 3-0 with 7:36 remaining in the first quarter. Ironhead Hayward, the lone setback for the Saints. Dalton Hilliard split out, comes in motion. Abraham with a short toss again to Lonzel Hill. Hill was shut out last week against Seattle, and that had to be a blow for him because he played his college football at the University of Washington in Seattle, went back home and was blanked, brought to an end a string of 4 consecutive games in which he caught a touchdown pass, but he's doing a good job in the first quarter. And the word on Charlie Hanna is a broken right ankle. That is bad news. Hill with 5 touchdown receptions. First down to 42. For another first down.
Yeah, but they may bring this one back. I see one of those yellow handkerchiefs on the field. Let's see what kind of protection Bill Kontz, number 70, is giving Bobby Hebert. He's replacing, of course, the injured Stan Brock, and Townsend gets around Kontz, but Kontz does a good job of forcing Townsend deep, not allowing him to get to the quarterback. Good job by Bill Kontz.
Holding, number 72 offense, still first down.
Holding is called on the left tackle, Jim Dombrowski. There he is, former first-round pick from Virginia in 1986. Missed most of his rookie year with a foot injury, and for all intents and purposes, last season was his rookie year. So it'll be 1st and 20 for Jim Mora's Saints. New Orleans leading 3-0 on a 51-yard field goal by Morton Anderson. Hayward and Hilliard are the running backs. And it's Craig Hayward. He broke Matt Millen's tackle, struggled forward for a game. And elsewhere in the NFL, the Cincinnati Bengals have opened up a 21-0 lead over the Oilers. Minnesota leading Tampa Bay 7-3 in the first quarter.
Surprise!
Denver playing without John Elway today, down 14-0 to the Steelers.
Hey, there's a surprise. Yeah, the Steelers 14-0, but even without Elway, you'd expect Denver to play a better game. I don't think they're going to be shut out at Pittsburgh.
Chuck Noll has been under some fire, criticized by former Steeler quarterback Terry Bradshaw. 2nd and 18. Couldn't find anybody open. He had plenty of time, but couldn't locate an open receiver, and was finally dumped by Scott Davis, along with Malcolm Taylor, the nose tackle.
Well, the Raiders have been successful defensively on 1st and 2nd down so far, albeit it was a penalty this last time on 1st down to put the Saints in a long yardage situation, but there's good coverage downfield. Hebert has time to get to a receiver, but hey, there isn't anyone open right now. Raiders just keep trying to get back there after him, and Hebert isn't known as a scrambler.
Taylor beat the block of the left guard Brad Edelman for the sack, and it'll be 3rd and 23. Over the middle again to Lonzel Hill. Hill looking for blocking. Runs into one of the officials and is down at the 45. The officials shaken up. The umpire, Rex Stewart, Hill ran right into him.
It's one thing to get run into out in the field with equipment on. When you don't have equipment on and one of these big ball players run into you, buddy, it's a sudden shock. And I tell you, it hurts. Look out. Oh, me. Oh, whiplash kind of effect. You got hit from the backside as well as the front. I was a little surprised that the Saints threw such a short pass when they needed 23 yards for a 1st down. There you see the umpire appears to be all right.
A big first quarter for Lonzel Hill, his 4th reception of the game. Rex Stewart, the umpire, shaken up on the play.
Well, that was quite a run by Lonzel Hill, even though he didn't get the 1st down. You see the very short pass in a long yardage situation. The Saints are hoping naturally that he can break it, and he nearly does. Well, don't want to go that way. Turn around. It reminds me a little bit of Marcus Allen and his moves, I do. Now, here's where our umpire gets into trouble. Can't quite get out of the way. He takes one look from the front, and then he's getting ready to get one from the back.
That wasn't a bad tackle by Rex Stewart. So on 4th down, Brian Hansen is in to punt. Hansen has been inconsistent this year, looking for placement. That's his strength. Getting those balls down inside the 20. And this one will roll into the end zone for a touchback. So with 4:26 remaining in the first quarter from New Orleans, the Saints have a 3-0 lead. During this past baseball season, while playing for the Kansas City Royals, Bo Jackson tore his right hamstring, and he has re-injured that leg in the first quarter today here in New Orleans, and has not returned after breaking off 2 big runs. In his 2nd year in the American League with the Royals, he had 25 home runs. Still learning to play baseball. Incredible athlete. Steve Strahan is still in there in place of it. First down for the Raiders at the 20. Saints leading 3-0. Schrader to Marcus Allen. Couple of blockers in front of it, and he slips down. And is tackled at the 27 by Tony Elliott.
Boy, this screen was set up beautifully. There wasn't a Saint near Marcus Allen when he caught the pass. They really got suckered on Schrader's dropping back. You see Marcus, he makes a little fake on Swilling like he's trying to block him. Then he comes out for the pass. Really beautiful. Beautiful execution by the Raiders.
And with each pass reception, Allen keeps alive a continuing club record, 75 consecutive games which he's caught a pass. Allen following Strahan. And he picks up the first down. Sam Mills, Antonio Gibson on the tackle for New Orleans. And let's go now to Gail Gardner and NFL Live.
Thank you, Mel. Last week it was the Bengals who committed all of the errors. This week the Oilers with the problems at Riverfront. Cincinnati taking advantage of a Moon interception. James Brooks goes in from 9 yards out. His second touchdown of the quarter as the Bengals lead 21-0. Let's go back to New Orleans.
All right, thank you, Gail. The Saints leading 3-0 with 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Vance Mueller is in the backfield now, along with Strahan for the Raiders, and it's Mueller. Good run by Mueller for a first down to the 49-yard line. Brett Maxey makes the tackle for the Saints. Mueller in his third year out of Occidental, the alma mater of Saints coach Jim Mora. Well, the Raiders broke quickly. Bo Jackson with 2 long runs of 25 and 20 yards for first downs. Then he got hurt, injured a hamstring, had to leave the game. The Raiders drive broke down, and Barr missed a 50-yard field goal, and then the Saints taking the lead on a 51-yarder by Morton Anderson. Marcus Allen is back in there for the Raiders along with Strahan. Allen over the top. And he's to the 47. Frank Warren, Sam Mills combining on the tackle.
Hey, this offensive line of the Raiders is getting a pretty good surge up front.
That's an interesting stat. Of those 89 yards, 45 were picked up by Bo Jackson, who's no longer in the game. Second down and 5. Lofton splits out wide to the right. Mervyn Fernandez to the left. The pitch to Marcus Allen. And a good jarring tackle by Reggie Sutton, who had the interception earlier in the game, coming up from his quarterback spot to make the stop on Allen.
Well, defensive end Frank Warren from Auburn made that play. I mean, he drove right back into the backfield and forced Marcus Allen wide. That allowed Reggie Sutton to get in there and make the play now. When I say big Frank Warren, I'm talking 6'4" and 290. I mean, that's a load, man, and he's quick as well.
Third down and 5 for the Raiders at the Saints 47. Saints in their nickel defense. Schrader, Ricky Jackson all over it. He saw Jackson coming and trying to get rid of it, but Ricky nailed it. Jackson, who leads the team in sacks with 6, and that'll bring up fourth down.
Well, what makes the play here is the secondary of the Saints. I mean, Jay Schrader has time to get this ball off if the first receiver he looks to is open. But you can see him shopping. He can't get it to him. He can't find the receiver open. So that was good coverage downfield. I like that haircut.
Lonzel Hill is back deep, and this is interesting because Mel Gray normally runs back punts, but he's muffed 2 in the last 2 weeks, so they had Hill back there to return that punt. He makes the fair catch. A 31-yard punt by Jeff Gossett. Remember, coming up next on most of these NBC stations, stay tuned for the second half of our doubleheader. Some of you will see the Jets against Dan Marino and the Red Hot Dolphins. The Jets, of course, playing without Mark Gastineau, who left the team to be with his fiancée, Brigitte Nielsen. Seattle playing the Rams, and the Browns will have Bernie Kosar back, who was hurt in the first game of the season, injured his elbow, but he's back and will play today for the Browns against Phoenix. 25 seconds left in the first quarter. First down for the Saints at the New Orleans 16. Saints leading 3-0. Ruben Mays bounces off a tackle and is wrestled down by Van McElroy, the free safety for the Raiders. Down to the final seconds of the first quarter. Mays had played well last week. Carried 18 times for 78 yards against Seattle. And that will be the final play of the first quarter. Very deep football team with Hayward, Hilliard, and Mays in the backfield. With Hebert having such a great year at quarterback, but a low-scoring first quarter. And the Saints have a 3-0 lead over the Los Angeles Raiders. The New Orleans Saints shooting for their 7th consecutive win, leading the visiting Raiders 3-0. And hello again, Mel Proctor along with Joe Namath, but that injury list continues to grow. Bo Jackson got hurt. Charlie Hanna broke his ankle, and the Raiders are really suffering through some tough times physically.
That, and so far, Jay Schrader hasn't been on target. Now, he's had some time to complete some passes, couldn't find people open, and he's overthrown on an occasion. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see Berline before this day is over.
Now you're trying to stir up a quarterback controversy. I thought you said there wasn't one.
No, but last week, Coach Shanahan had a gut feeling that he needed to bring in a spark, and I could see him doing the same thing if Schrader doesn't start completing some passes.
Well, Berline statistically is the second-ranked passer in the AFC.
Oh, he's been hot, but realistically, the Raiders know that Schrader's the man down the road, so they want to get him as much work as possible.
So we begin the second quarter with the Saints leading 3-0. Second down 5 for New Orleans as Lonzel Hill goes in motion. Ruben Mays. And a strong run by Mays. Pro Bowler in his first 2 years, but has yet to play in a Pro Bowl because of injuries.
Well, so far, the linebackers of the Raiders haven't been playing up to par. Here we see Matt Millett, number 55, making a good pursuit to get to the ball carrier. The only trouble with this is he gets knocked back a little bit, and he makes the tackle, but a little too far downfield. The Raiders need to make contact, get some penetration, such as Malcolm Taylor did earlier, to stop this Saints running attack.
First down at the 28-yard line. Hebert with another short toss to Craig Hayward. Hayward gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Lyndon King makes the tackle. Ironhead Hayward, a first-round pick of the Saints, a 24 selection overall, and I think they really got more than they bargained for. They knew he was a good runner, but he's proven to be an outstanding blocker and has surprisingly soft hands for a man his size. He can catch the football.
Soft hands, and he has some agile feet, quick foot movement that enables him to jump around a lot of tackles, not just run over top of them.
Second down for the Saints. They lead 3-0. Lost the yard in the previous play. Hayward in motion. And the pitch is to Mays. Driven back. A strong tackle by Van McElroy along with Reggie McKenzie. McKenzie, a 10th round pick in 1985 out of Tennessee.
This is what the Raiders must do. I keep mentioning they need to shut them down on first and second down to put this most efficient third down team in the NFL in a long yardage situation. Now, the rushing yards, so far, the Raiders have held the Saints to only 14 yards. But there go the Saints with that time of possession once again, 7:58.
Saints are second in the NFL in average time of possession, 34 minutes and 28 seconds on an average per game. Only the Bears are better. They're 35 minutes and 28 seconds. Hebert with a shuttle pass. That was a forward pass, so it's incomplete.
Well, my Mike Wise, the defensive end, puts some penetration in here in the middle and kind of disrupts this play. Here you see him coming around on the game, getting right over the center. Now he'll burst through there and he'll throw this play out of sync, you see. Hebert saw him coming and threw the high pass. Mike Wise caused that.
And a low snap, but Brian Hansen gets the punt away. Stephon Adams at the 29. Good coverage downfield by the Saints as Adams is dropped at the 31-yard line. A 40-yard kick by Hansen. And the Saints have a 3-0 lead. We'll be right back.
Today's game is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Wendy's Old-Fashioned Hamburgers, the best burgers in the business. And by the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Mel Proctor with Joe Namath back at the Louisiana Superdome with 12:23 remaining in the second quarter. The Saints lead the Raiders 3-0, and this is the first time the Raiders have begun a drive outside their own 20, beginning this drive from the Los Angeles 33. Bo Jackson still has not returned to the Raider backfield. Play action fake by Schrader, and guns it on downfield. It's knocked down. Fine defensive play by Van Jakes, reaching over the shoulder of James Lofton to swat it down.
Oh, a good play by Jakes. My only, I just think Schrader threw the ball too late here. He has time. The ball gets there late. He should throw it now. Throw it now. He's having a hard time finding Lofton, and by the time the ball gets there, Jake's able to close on it to break it up. Lofton was open there for a while, but the ball got there late.
Jakes, the fastest of the secondary men for the Saints. Second down and 10. Strahan and Marcus Allen are the running backs. Lofton and Fernandez the wide receivers. Marcus Allen, and he's got a first down out to the 49-yard line. Milton Mack on the stop for the Saints, and a good block thrown by James Lofton.
Well, I tell you, this is impressive. I mean, the Raiders have been able to knock off some big yardage gainers on the ground here. They've had 4 or 5 plays already of over 10 yards a clip. That offensive line of the Raiders have to be doing a good job up there.
A reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. Marcus piling up the yardage in the absence of Bo Jackson. Schrader getting some pressure, and he's going to be sacked for a big loss. Antonio Gibson coming on a safety blitz. Dropped him back near the 30.
Well, Antonio Gibson was accounted for. We see Marcus Allen set up in front of him, right here trying to get over to him and just couldn't reach him. So Antonio gets the big sack. This is what the Raiders certainly didn't need, or any offense, to be put in this extra long yardage situation.
Schrader stopped at the 35, and it'll be second and 24. 14-yard loss.
You see, Marcus Allen had to run around Schrader that time to try and block Gibson, and the timing of the play just didn't develop. He couldn't get there in time.
Inside handoff to Allen. Good run by Marcus, but they're still well short of the first down. Pat Swilling made the tackle for the Saints. And another official goes down. It's the same guy. Rex Stewart bites the dust for the second time. Rex might think about a new vocation.
You have to be a pretty agile official back there to stay out of the action. He's right in the middle of all the action. He's looking for a place to get out of the way, but it looks like Marcus hunts him up, and also a defensive player. Oh, boy. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time, I guess.
You could almost read his mind. Well, where am I going to go? Which way?
No, yeah. Is this going to happen again? Oh.
So Rex Stewart is being helped to his feet, and will return to the Superdome in a moment. As Cincinnati Bengals really laying it to the Houston Oilers, 28-0 in the second quarter in the battle for first place in the AFC Central. The Giants and Falcons tied 3-3. Minnesota leading Tampa Bay 21-10 in the second quarter. Well, how about Pittsburgh? Try to break a 6-game losing streak. The Steelers lead Denver without John Elway 24-0. And Dallas jumping up on the Eagles 17-0. Here in New Orleans, the Saints leading 3-0. A lot of injuries so far, and the latest is the umpire Rex Stewart, who's injured for the second time in the game. 2 sacks of Stewart today, has taken over the league lead in that category.
So we understand that the officials are going to go with a 6-man crew as opposed to 7-man crew. They don't have a replacement official with them. And boy, I find that hard to believe that as much business successful as the National Football League is, they don't have a backup official in case there is an accident out there.
Well, the line judge, Bama Glass, will serve as the umpire, and Rex Stewart is expected to return to the game. So Bama Glass is the umpire right now. 3rd down 12 at the 47. Schrader's pass is incomplete. Looked like Marcus Allen was the intended receiver, but Pat Swilling applying the pressure to Schrader. And that'll bring up 4th down.
You see, by using Burline last week, the Raiders have started something here. How long are you going to stay with Schrader now? You might consider making a change even in this second quarter, especially if the next offensive effort doesn't produce something.
Schrader and Mike Shanahan talking things over on the sidelines. Jeff Gossett into punt. He's 5th in the AFC in punting. Not a very good kick, but he gets a good roll. And it's fielded by the Saints. Lonzel Hill again back there rather than Mel Gray to run that kickback. So we've got a break in the action with 10:23 remaining in the second quarter. It's 3-0 New Orleans. Welcome back, Rex Stewart, the injured umpire, returning. You okay, Rex?
I'll tell you, one happy guy is Bama Glass right now, the line judge. He said, hey, I don't want to play in that umpire position, man. That's too tough today.
First down for the Saints at the New Orleans 23. The Saints leading 3-0. With a sideline pattern incomplete, intended for Eric Martin. And let's go now to Gail Gardner in New York, NFL Live.
All right, Mel, problems continue for the Oilers at Riverfront. We take a look at Warren Moon back to pass. His arm moves forward. It is deflected by Leo Barker. He then picks it off, returns it 34 yards for the score. The Bengals lead 28-0 second quarter. Let's go back to New Orleans.
Here at the Superdome, it's 3-0 in favor of the Saints, facing a 2nd and 10 situation. Greg Hayward, 250-pound rookie. Carries that weight pretty well. When he was at Pitt, he got up to 280 pounds. But for a guy who weighs 250, he runs a 4.7840 on grass.
He can do it all. The man is going to be one of the top fullbacks in the league. You know, hey, I'm impressed with the way the Raiders have been shuffling their defensive line now. Malcolm Taylor's been in there. They've used a 4-man down front with 4 big defensive linemen, and they've been able to control this Saint offense so far.
Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson both out rushing the Saints so far. Bobby Hebert using that short control passing game. Passing down on 3rd and 6. Over the middle, complete to Eric Martin, close to a first down. Martin out of LSU, the leading receiver on this team.
Just a little quick pass. All they need is 6 yards. That's why 1st and 2nd down for the Raiders defensively is so important. These Saints have been super successful. 54 of 101 coming in today on 3rd down conversions, and the main reason has been their success on 1st and 2nd down, putting them in short yardage 3rd down situations.
Eric Martin's reception gives the Saints a first down to 35. New Orleans leading 3-0 with 9.5 remaining in the second period. Back, he takes the pitch on a cutback and drives to the 41-yard line. Good good run. He got a solid block from Bill Kontz, the right tackle.
Boy, that's right, Mel. I was just going to say, Bill Kontz working for Stan Brock right now. Gave Reuben Mays, number 36, the hole to get through. Kontz is on the right side of your screen, number 70, leading the play and gets help from John Tice, 82. Look at that hole open up. Hey, that's good blocking.
Second down and 4. Greg Hayward in the backfield now, along with Reuben Mays. Mays again, nothing there. Reuben, who had a great rookie year, he gained 153 yards in his rookie of the year, and then injured his Achilles tendon. Came back last year after the surgery and gained over 900 yards and got hurt in the playoffs against the Vikings. Looks like holding against the Saints. Mays underwent very serious reconstructive knee surgery and has returned once again to be a productive running back. And we pause briefly for station identification on the NBC television network.
Number 82 offense, still second down.
WDSU 6 New Orleans.
John Tice. John, whose brother Mike plays for Seattle, and last week they went head-to-head, and their mom Lois was in Seattle to see the game. She stayed at Mike's house, and she was asked who she was cheering for, and she said the offense. They're both tight ends.
Couldn't go wrong that way.
Second and 14. Split out wide to the right this time. Don't throw to him too often. Hebert complete to Greg Hayward. He's got a first down. Big rookie showing those soft hands.
He's remarkable. I mean, he doesn't look like he's going to run away from you. He doesn't look like he can catch the ball. He's not a big target except in width. I mean, he's not that tall, but the man does it all, and he's just a rookie. He's also a good blocker. He sneaks out of the backfield. Now watch. Well, we don't get to see the end of the the end of the play for Hebert is on the ground. There's so many quarterbacks that face
Scott Davis dropping Hebert, but he got the pass away for a first down at the 48-yard line. Mays trying to cut back. Good hit by Mike Wise, number 90.
That was a good hit. My goodness, Mike Wise. I tell you what, he put 270 pounds of mean, tough defensive end that time on the ball carrier. You can nearly feel this hit at home. Watch this, folks. Mays comes back, and look at his impact. Boom! That's a big league hit, buddy.
You like that, don't you? That's sadistic.
That was nice.
So no gain on the play. It's second down and 10. Lonzel Hill in motion. Played well in his first half. And Hebert is blindsided and sacked. Lyndon King getting him from the blind side. The ex-San Diego Charger.
Well, the Raiders that time, they put Kontz in a tough position. You see number 70, but they rushed two guys on the outside, and Kontz isn't quite clear on which one to take. He takes the inside, and so did Hayward. So they just left Lyndon King to run free and make the play. I don't know whether it was Hayward's fault or Kontz's, but it was definitely a missed blocking assignment.
5-yard loss brings up a 3rd and 15 situation, so the Saints have been so effective at third downs this year, trying to keep this drive alive on 3rd and long. Blitz. Hebert incomplete, intended for Dalton Hilliard as he tried to put a little touch on that pass.
He did, and there he is again on the ground. Hebert, we talked about his pass protection earlier. They've only had 9 sacks, but what they don't keep track of is the many times that Hebert gets knocked down and releases the ball quickly. I mean, he doesn't want to take a loss, and he'll throw it away more times than most quarterbacks to avoid the loss.
Ryan Hansen is in the punt. Like another low snap. Gets off a pretty good kick. Stephon Adams at the 10. And he's brought down to 14-yard line. With 6:03 remaining in the first half, the New Orleans Saints lead the Raiders 3-0. We'll be right back. Strahan. The Raiders have recovered. Schrader and Strahan missing connections on the handoff.
Well, a couple of things can happen. Either the quarterback hits him high or Strahan doesn't have a pocket. He hit him a little high up in the numbers, and that looked to be the problem. Quarterback wants to lay that ball right in the back's tummy, where his belly button is, so he can grasp it. And here you see the ball hit him up around the chest area. It hits those hard shoulder pads and bounces away.
They managed to gain a yard on the play, so it's 2nd and 9. Strahan playing in place for the injured Bo Jackson. Schrader downfield. Nice catch by Bourbon Fernandez. One man to beat. Goodbye. Bourbon Fernandez on an 84-yard reception from Jay Schrader.
And that's what Al Davis, the managing general partner of the Raiders, loves about Schrader. He can get the bomb out there. He can make the big play. He doesn't care about 45% passing, not when you can drop the bomb on a team. Once again, Schrader has afforded good pass protection in there to get this ball off, and Fernandez, the big, strong target, does the rest of the work.
Fernandez, who has 4.45 speed in the 40, getting behind Reggie Sutton, and Jim Moore was concerned about that speed. The Raiders have 4 receivers who run the 40 under 4.5.
You have a Willie Gault and Tim Brown are both injured, and should the Raiders lose another wide receiver, they could be in trouble.
And the extra point by Barr is blocked. So that may prove to be crucial as Chris Barr's extra point is blocked by James Geathers. Geathers at 6'7", the ex-basketball star, going up to block it.
Good special teams plays. Well, they add up. This extra point could be the deciding factor later in the game. Just a good individual effort by Geathers.
Last week, Gene Atkins blocked the field goal attempt, and Dave Waymer ran it back 58 yards for a touchdown. The special teams pay off again as Geathers blocks the extra point, and now a field goal would tie the score.
Sure, that's got to lift your team up. I'm talking about the New Orleans Saints. When a team scores a bomb on you, you know there's a letdown emotionally. But if you bounce back and block the extra point the way the Saints just have, it gives this offense a lift going out in the field. Let's see what Jay Schrader has to feel or say about this pass. Is he happy or what? I'll tell you, he's had a rocky first 1.5 quarters, and had they not hit this play, I think it would have been a question whether he's going to stay in the game or not.
Schrader's 7th touchdown pass of the season, and for Fernandez, his 3rd touchdown reception. Fernandez, a great player in Canada. He was a 10th round pick of the Raiders in '83, went up to Canada where he was named the most valuable player, winning the Shenley Award. Had some adjustments as we look at Steve Berline. When he came to the Raiders last year in his rookie year, Fernandez had only 14 receptions. He was adjusting to a different offense, a smaller field, which is a big adjustment. They play on a bigger field up in Canada, and more sophisticated defenses, but Al Davis maintained that he'll be a star. Kickoff brought back by Gene Atkins of the Saints across the 20. With a good run back out to the 23. Ron Fellows on the stop on the special teams, and Atkins is upset. Looked like he ran into his own man.
That's why he's upset. You know, it's enough trouble trying to avoid the opposition, but when your own man gets in your way, it can be a little frustrating, and that's what's wrong with Atkins right now. Feels like he should have broken it for a longer gainer. We'll take a look right here and see what he's upset about. Here he makes a couple of good breaks. He finds some daylight, but hey, he runs into a black jersey over here just as he's making his cut. Reuben Mays, number 36. And then, holy cow, another receiver, Cliff Benson, 86 he runs into. Give me a break, fellas. You know, I have my hands full with the Raiders.
First down for the Saints at the 25. Raiders leading 6-3 with 4:53 left in the first half. Dalton Hilliard in motion. Aver fumbles the snap. But it's recovered by the Saints. Well, the lineman, I think, down there to recover it. Looked like the left guard, Brad Edelman, recovered.
Well, the important thing here is to find out why it happened. As soon as the quarterback and center have a bad exchange, you better find out the reason for it. Did the center get the ball back far enough? Did Hebert pull out too fast? We can't really tell from this replay, but you can bet that Hebert and Court, the center, are going to talk about it.
Hebert said he had some difficulties adjusting his court when he first became the center because he's not very big. He's only 6'2", and Hebert said he had to kneel down so low to take the snap. He felt like a wishbone quarterback. Hebert going deep. Incomplete. Intended for Lonzel Hill, who had a step on Ron Fellows. To throw the deep bomb. He did that quite effectively in the USFL. In 3 years, he threw 81 touchdown passes, but he's in a more controlled offense here in New Orleans. Oilers still have not scored. It's 28-0 Cincinnati.
Well, when you get behind a good team, you've really got some problems. 28-0. That's going to be tough to overcome against Cincinnati.
New England leading Buffalo 13-10. The Bills won the first game of the year between those two to snap an 11-game losing streak in that series.
Hey, how about Dallas over Philadelphia?
Third down, 12. Hebert underneath to Dalton Hilliard. Stopped short of a first down, however. Hilliard in his third year out of LSU. Russell Carter makes the tackle.
Once again, the key was a long yardage situation that the Raiders put the Saints offense in. At 3rd and 12, the Saints aren't used to having to get that much yardage.
Ryan Hansen with his fourth punt. Stephon Adams in place of the injured Tim Brown. Running back kicks today for the Raiders. As the Saints breathed a sigh of relief when they saw that Brown wasn't running back punts and kickoffs today. 27. Excellent coverage downfield by the Saints as he's brought down to 34 by Alvin Tolles. So the Raiders have a 6-3 lead with 3:06 remaining in the first half. A 38-yard punt. A reminder, this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New Orleans Saints and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the National Football League, New Orleans Saints, and Los Angeles Raiders, all rights reserved. First down for the Raiders at the Los Angeles 35. The Raiders leading 6-3. Marcus Allen following Steve Strahan. They have lost a yard on the play as Reggie Sutton cut him down.
Reggie Sutton saw something happen that all defensive cornerbacks would like to see, and that was the offensive blocking of the Raiders peel back. They left Sutton entirely alone out there. On the left side of your screen, you'll see the Raiders blockers try to get out there and seal off the inside, but no one gets to the outside on number 29, Reggie Sutton, as he comes up. There he is to make the play, unmolested.
2.5 remaining. First half from the Superdome in Louisiana as the Raiders go to a shotgun on 2nd and 10. Handoff to Allen. 40, 45. He's got a first down. Is driven out of bounds at the 46 of New Orleans. Gene Atkins chasing him out. See that cast he's wearing on his left wrist. He has a broken wrist, but picks up 19 yards.
I tell you, I don't remember the last pro game I've seen with so many long runs. I mean, runs of 10, 12, 15, 20 yards have been made so early. These Raiders are getting through that first gap, and the linebackers of the Saints in the secondary are playing pass. They're so worried about the speed of the wide receivers, they're dropping back deep, and that's really opening up the area once the runners get past the defensive line.
The Raiders are only 23rd in the NFL in rushing, averaging 98 yards on the ground per game, but running effectively in the first half today. Play action by Schrader, and going deep again, overthrows Marcus Allen. Van Jakes trying to cover Allen. Schrader's strength, his ability to throw deep. He's got a great arm. Talk about Bo Jackson playing two sports. Schrader was a catcher, was drafted by Toronto, spent 3 years in the Blue Jays organization, had some difficulty hitting, but he really has a great arm.
Oh, he has a great arm, that's for sure. He's getting good pass protection. That's the impressive thing to me about this Raiders offense so far. They're giving him plenty of time to get back there and get set. Marcus Allen just couldn't elude the defender enough, and the ball is overthrown slightly.
Raiders completed only 2 passes, but one of those was for an 84-yard touchdown for Mervyn Fernandez. Allen. And Marcus is dropped at the 42 by Vaughn Johnson, the right inside linebacker. Saints have excellent linebackers with Jackson swilling on the outside, Sam Mills and Johnson on the inside. And we get the 2-minute warning here at the Superdome with the Raiders leading the Saints 6-3. We'll be right back. Schrader was struggling and might have been on the verge of coming out of the game, but then he hit on that 84-yard pass to Mervyn Fernandez, one of only 2 passes he's completed in the first half.
I definitely feel that bought Schrader some more time in this game. I don't think it's beyond Shanahan. Well, we all know it's not beyond Shanahan to pull Schrader out. And right now, with only 2 completions or so and almost a half of football, you have to take that into consideration for the second half.
I thought Al Davis' comments at practice yesterday were interesting, saying we needed to go outside the organization to find out if our philosophy is right or if we need something new, something that Shanahan could bring, his offensive philosophy from Denver. They're using the shotgun for the first time this year. First time they've ever used it for the Raiders. 3rd down 7. Schrader on the keeper and brought down at the 40. Gain of only 2 yards. He didn't fool anybody on that play. James Gelders, 97 on the stop.
And I'll tell you, from that field position, and you make that kind of call, that's showing a lack of confidence in your passing game.
Lonzel Hill drops back for the Saints, awaiting the kick by Jeff Gossett, who had a great game last week against the Chiefs. He had 3 punts over 50 yards, had a couple of them down inside the 20. And again, it's Hill rather than Mel Gray running it back kicks. Raiders leading 6-3. Gossett, who was released by the Browns.
Well, you see, they can take a penalty here. The extra 5 yards means nothing to the Raiders. They're more concerned with giving the Saints less time to work with. Take the 5-yard penalty. They've just burned an extra 30 seconds or so off the Saints.
Delay of game, offense, penalty decline, 4th down.
The reason that the Raiders declined a 5-yard penalty is they don't want to give Gossett an extra 5 yards to work with on his punt.
Oh, the Saints declined a penalty. It'll be 4th and 5. There's a fair catch is signaled for by Hill. And he had that decision to make. The rule of thumb is anything inside the 10, you let the ball go, hoping it can roll into the end zone. And he elected to make the fair catch. And the Saints will have very poor field position. Coming up at halftime, NFL Live. Scores of other games, highlights, features. Bob Costas, Gail Gardner, Ahmad Rashad.
I think so far both of these punt returners have done an excellent job in catching the football and keeping their teams or giving them better field position. He had to catch this last punt. I'm talking of course about Hill, but Stephon Adams has made some good catches of Saint punts so far.
Bobby Aber having a good first half, 8 of 14 for 82 yards. Says he now feels comfortable in this ball control passing offense. And here comes Dalton Hilliard for about a 4-yard pickup. Reggie McKenzie on the stop along with Mike Wise.
Well, the Raiders have just taken a timeout. They want to see if they can force the Saints into a punt situation. The Saints certainly don't want to turn the ball over, so they don't care to try anything risky at this stage.
Bobby Hebert, Joe, who told us yesterday that in the wall of his old bedroom in his parents' house in Louisiana, he still has a Joe Namath poster hanging from the wall. You were his idol back when he was about 12 years old.
Hebert has not only got a lot of style and class, but he has good taste, too. He's 6'4" and 215. Excellent size for a quarterback, and that's a big help for him when he takes those short drops. in the quick passing game. He's been so good this year going to the right receivers in various situations. That's Carl Smith, the offensive coordinator, talking with Bobby Hebert. And Carl Smith does all the play calling. Coach Mora does not get involved during the game with any of the play calling. He feels that's his coordinator's responsibility, and he gives him the leeway to make any call he wants to.
And most of the Saints coaching staff, the assistant coaches, all were with Jim Mora in the USFL with the Philadelphia and Baltimore Stars, all but 2 coaches plus the strength coach accompanying him to the NFL. Dalton Hilliard up the middle. He's to the 18-yard line. Hilliard, a local product from Patterson, Louisiana, and then started LSU, and the Raiders will take another timeout with 47 seconds left.
Sure, they have a good chance of forcing these Saints into a punt situation. Who knows, a big play or two, the Raiders could be right back down the field in scoring position. That's what Coach Shanahan is thinking about.
Mike Shanahan, who began his coaching career 13 years ago as an assistant at the University of Oklahoma, a rapid climb to the head coaching spot of the Raiders.
Right now, Hebert and Carl Smith want this first down badly. They're trying to figure out a way to avoid the punt situation. First, there's Bo Jackson over there talking to Trey Johnson, number 87. I really don't think Bo's going to come back in the game. I mean, when you have a pulled hamstring muscle, it doesn't get well in a few minutes. Even the slightest pull could get worse. Being is only his second game back, you've got to take that into consideration. And I don't think we'll see any more of Bo today.
So Jackson with 2 long runs to open the game and has not returned since. There's the managing general partner of the Raiders, Al Davis. 47 seconds left. Third down 4 for the Saints at the 18. Raiders leading 6-3. Brett Perriman, number 80, a rookie from Miami, and a deep threat is in the game. Hebert is hit from behind as he gets rid of that pass. Scott Davis was draped all over him. He wanted to go to Eric Martin. It's Davis, the first-round pick, one of 3 first-round picks for the Raiders. He's from Illinois, an all-Big Ten selection.
Hebert can't find one of his short receivers again. And you'll see from the left side here, Scott Davis is going to come into your screen. He's just pushing Dombrowski, the offensive tackle, back and out of the way, and Hebert couldn't find the receiver. A combination of good coverage and a good rush broke the play down.
The Raiders still have 1 timeout left as Brian Hansen gets off a booming kick. Stephon Adams at the 20. And he goes out of bounds to stop the clock with 31 seconds left. Outstanding kick by Hansen, who's been rather inconsistent this year. A 60-yard kick. That's the longest of the season for Brian Hansen. Former Pro Bowler at 85. Reminder at halftime, Frank DeFord will have a feature on a town without a team, St. Louis.
You know, I would look for the Raiders to try and go deep here a few times, because even if they do throw the interception, you want it downfield, and there's only 31 seconds right now left on the clock. And they only have 1 timeout left. So I don't know why they should fool around with a short passing game. I'd start trying to get the deep one right now.
They have only 2 wide receivers in the game, and Lofton and Fernandez, who caught a touchdown pass earlier. Marcus Allen, outstanding receiver, out of bounds at the 41. Mike Shanahan told us that Tim Brown and Willie Gault might see some action if they went to 4 wide receivers, but we have seen neither.
Yeah, if they went to 4 wide, if they had 4 wide receivers available, they might go to them. I mean, Gault has the bruised right shoulder, and of course Tim Brown has the bad knee. Otherwise, we'd be seeing him running back kicks and punts. So they can't very well use a 4 wide receiver.
And they're also without their great pass-catching tight end, Todd Christensen. He should be back next week. He's got a knee injury. That's Brown, 81. Gault standing behind him. 26 seconds left. 2nd and 4. Schrader to Allen and can't get it to him. Marcus was open.
He was open. The Raiders are trying to hit the short receiver because the Saints are dropping so deep. Meantime, Schrader just misfired. This would have been a first down for the Raiders had he been able to get the ball accurately to Marcus Allen.
So with 20 seconds remaining in the first half, it'll be 3rd down and 4. Saints have never beaten the Raiders. First game of the series was the tie, and since then the Raiders have won 3 straight. Raiders yet to convert a third down situation. Schrader guns it into a crowd, and it's caught. The tight end Trey Junkin on the reception. He caught a touchdown pass last week against the Chiefs. And now the Raiders use their last timeout.
Yeah, but what I never understand about a quarterback is when he goes to call timeout, why run up to where the pass was completed to call timeout? The referee's standing right beside you. You turn around and say timeout. You save a few seconds that way. By the time you run up to where the ball's down, you're wasting more time on the clock.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, you and I did a game in Cleveland between the Browns and the Seahawks where Don Strock and the Browns wasted a lot of time in those types of situations.
30 seconds, sure, they wasted a lot of time. These are professional teams, man. They're supposed to know that clock. They're supposed to save all the time that's eligible for them to save.
All right, Coach. 12 seconds remaining in the first half. Saints riding a 6-game win streak. They've also won 15 of their last 16 regular season games. They've got a 10-game win streak going on the road, but they're being tested this afternoon. Raiders are now out of timeouts. First down at the 46. They line up. Tim Brown is in the game now, by the way. They line up 3 wide receivers. They go for the tip play now. The Hail Mary. Throw it downfield and hope somebody can tip it. Schrader throws it underneath to Fernandez. He's got a first down, but time is going to run out. So they were unable to get the ball deep.
You got me, folks. I couldn't figure that play out either.
So that's the end of the first half from the Superdome as Jim Moore leaves the field. Saints having difficulty offensively, and the Raiders at the half have a 6-3 lead. NFL Live halftime activities will continue
after you. So this offensive scheme of the Raiders hasn't quite gelled yet. But hey, again, Schrader's new with the team. You bring in a new quarterback or even Berline in his first year, you're not going to be operating with good sync all the time. I mean, it takes a while to work, to get smooth, to get oiled.
This kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers, and we're underway in the second half. Eric Martin brings it back for the Saints. Martin tackled at the 26-yard line by Milt McCall. Let's take a look at the first half numbers. The Raiders with 143 yards rushing, well above their season average. They were averaging 98 yards rushing per game, but keep in mind, Bo Jackson picked up 45 on 2 carries. The passing stats will have to be disturbing for the Raiders.
Yes, but I'll tell you, their rushing defense and holding the Saints to just 38 yards is impressive. Meantime, the Saints still lead in the time of possession, but the Raiders' defense is keeping them in this game. They're doing a good job.
The Saints are right on schedule as far as time of possession. Craig Hayward gets the call on first down. The big rookie spins out of the pack. Look at this run by Hayward! Ironhead all the way for a touchdown. Friends, is the first NFL touchdown for Craig Hayward, a 73-yard run.
We talked about his agility, his ability to jump outside, bounce off of tacklers. Watch this reverse pivot, that quick footwork. He gets his legs going again. Now he'll turn on some speed downfield and just leaves the rest of the guys. Breaks another tackle by Ron Fellows right there. Fellows didn't have anyone to come in and help him out. And hey, here goes Ironhead.
So on the first play from scrimmage, Hayward goes 73 yards, and Morton Anderson's kick is perfect. And the Saints open the second half with a bang. Hayward, nicknamed Ironhead as a kid because he was hard-headed, obstinate, but putting that head to good use, running right through the Raider defense for a 73-yard touchdown.
Oh, this could be a downer for this Raider defense. They played so well. They had so many people around the ball that time, but the missed tackle right now by Ron Fellows allows Hayward to make the long gainer. They really had the play shut down at the point of attack.
The Saints take a 10-6 lead. The first NFL touchdown for Hayward, who messed up the spike, but what the heck?
Well, he'll work on that. I promise you he'll work on that and come up with a good one.
Talking about that nickname Ironhead, he said he picked it up at the Boys Club in Passaic, New Jersey when he was a kid. He was stubborn and obstinate. And he said, hey, you got a head, Ironhead. And he said one time he ran out the street in front of a car and jumped away from the car. The car brushed him. And the word around school the next day was, hey, fellas, Ironhead went one-on-one with a car and the car lost. He's quite a kid, very personable.
Oh, I love his personality. Very outgoing. He bought us a couple of lemonades yesterday in practice. He said, here, fellas, have a drink on me. Lemonade.
So Hayward has given the Saints a 10-6 lead. Maybe more importantly, it's gotten his crowd back into the game. They've been rather silent the first half.
Sure, Bo Jackson took them right out of the game the first time they had the ball, and that could be a positive factor for the Saints if they get this crowd involved again.
Anderson with a good kick. Stephon Adams in the end zone will not bring it back. Another strong kickoff by Morton Anderson. And the Saints are fired up. Shooting for their 7th straight win. They're off to the best start in club history. One play, 73 yards. Ironhead Hayward. He said some backs can catch, some can run, some can block. I can do all three. I'm the complete back.
You know, I'd expect this New Orleans Saints defense to be really fired up right now, ready to shut down this run. It would be a good time for a play action pass from Schrader.
For the Raiders, you got to come back, strike with a big play to get this crowd out of it, maybe regain some momentum.
A good gainer right now. I wouldn't stick the ball in the line of scrimmage.
Marcus Allen and Steve Trahan opening the second half in the Raider backfield with Lofton and Fernandez, the wide receivers. The give to Allen, nothing doing. Hit initially by Ricky Jackson. Jackson waving his arms, trying to keep the crowd involved.
Yeah, but when you're calling plays, you have to have a sense, you have to have a feel of how the defense is right now. They're fired up. I really wouldn't have wanted to run the ball right up the middle of that defense.
No gain on the play. Ricky Jackson, a 4-time Pro Bowler. He didn't make the Pro Bowl last year, but the Saints coaches felt that he might have had his best overall year. 2nd down and 10. Vance Mueller is in the backfield now, replacing Strahan. Schrader throws, and it's incomplete, intended for Vance Mueller, and almost intercepted by Van Jakes.
Almost, but they only count in horseshoes, that almost. Actually, it should have been a caught pass. Schrader made a good move of getting out of the pocket, getting out of the way of the rush, and coming to the open receiver. You can't blame Schrader for this incompletion. He gets a little pressure right up front. Tell you what, he moves nicely over there. Now this ball goes right through Mueller's hands. Look at this. Oh, man. Supposed to catch that kind of a pass.
3rd down and 10. Jakes with 3 interceptions leads the club. He's tied for 3rd in the NFC. Good pressure from Pat Swilling, and Schrader throws a wobbly pass. It's incomplete, intended for James Lofton. But Pat Swilling was all over Schrader, forcing him to hurry that pass, and will bring up 4th down. That's so important, isn't it, after you score on a big play, to shut the opposition down on their next possession?
Oh, to keep that momentum going, for sure. Again, going back to the 1st down call, I would have loved to have seen the Raiders come with a pass because that defensive front was so fired up. They don't get a gain, and they get the crowd right back into the game.
And it's still Lonzel Hill running back kicks as Jeff Cossett gets it away. Hill unable to shake loose, so the Saints will begin this drive from their 43, but they lead the Raiders 10-6.
Today's game is brought to you by Mazda and the exciting new Mazda cars and trucks for 1989. By Coors Light, there's no slowing down with a silver bullet. It's the right beer now. And by Apple Computer, maker of Macintosh personal computers, giving you the power to be your best.
Mel Proctor with Joe Namath at the Louisiana Superdome. The Saints opening the second half with a bang on the first play from scrimmage. Rookie Craig Hayward running 73 yards for a touchdown, and Morton Anderson's conversion giving the Saints a 10-6 lead. First down for the Saints at the New Orleans 42. And the reverse. Lonzel Hill wants to throw. He's got a man downfield. Incomplete. Intended for rookie Brett Perriman, who has 4.3 speed. We'd like to welcome those of you who've been watching the Houston-Cincinnati game. Mel Proctor along with Joe Namath at the Louisiana Superdome. The Bengals leading the Oilers 28-7. And here in New Orleans, the Saints have a 10-6 lead. Craig Hayward on the first play from scrimmage to open the second half broke a 73-yard run, his first NFL touchdown to give the Saints the lead. Here comes Hayward again, the big rookie from Pitt. Hard to believe he was the 24th selection on the first round. A lot of teams passed on him because they felt he might have a weight problem, and also he might be kind of an attitude case.
Well, his attitude problem is that it's so good. I mean, this guy wants to play. The players love him, and he's just a fine all-around athlete. And the Saints know the value of a fullback in the offense. I mean, the only championship team to win a Super Bowl, I guess, was the old Dallas Cowboys with, the halfback. I don't remember.
Dwayne Thomas.
Dwayne Thomas, that's right. You have to have a fullback to win a championship.
Third down, 7. Bobby Hebert's pass is slapped away. A fine defensive play by Lionel Washington. Eric Martin was the intended receiver. He thought he was interfered with.
Well, Lionel might have gotten his left hand a little bit on the receiver, but it's a good play by Washington. Martin's not really that open. Washington's in a good chase position and just gets his right hand on the ball. Good defensive coverage.
For those of you who joined us late, Tim Brown, the Heisman Trophy winner for Notre Dame and a great return man, has not been returning kicks today for the Raiders. He has a bad knee, so Stephon Adams handling those chores. Bo Jackson, who had 2 carries for 45 yards to start the game, pulled his right hamstring, and he has not returned. Great kick by Hansen. And did it get into the end zone? I don't know. I think it went out of bounds at the 1. No, touchback. Side judge indicating it went out at the 2. One of the other officials indicating a touchback. And we'll return to New Orleans where the Saints have a 10-6 lead over the Raiders. Mel Proctor with Joe Namath back at the Louisiana Superdome with 12:21 remaining in the third quarter. There's Tim Brown, who's played briefly but not being used on kickoffs or punts. And that's a big blow to the Raiders' attack.
Briefly, I think 1 play. There's Bo Jackson. He's been in all of 2 plays.
Bo averaging 22.5 yards a carry, but got hurt after his first 2 carries. And in the Aloha shirt is Todd Christensen, the great tight end, who's out with a bad knee. He's expected back next week. Todd doesn't seem too thrilled at the scores so far.
No, but, the Raiders have played defensively very well. With the exception of Hayward's long run, they've held these Saints in check.
10-6 New Orleans as the Raiders begin this drive from their 20. Jay Schrader has struggled today. Steve Strahan, Marcus Allen in the backfield. Allen hit behind the line of scrimmage by Antonio Gibson. And Marcus may be shaken up, but he bounces up quickly.
You got to give credit to the defensive coordinator here. He calls the corner blitz. You see Gibson come through here, the safety blitz, unmolested, makes the tackle 7 yards deep. Tell you what, when you back up an offensive team on first down like this, it just lifts the offense tremendously. I wouldn't be surprised if Gibson shouldn't have been blocked by Strahan that time. Strahan ran right by him. You should never allow the opposite colored jersey to run by you.
Gibson, who just returned from a 30-day drug suspension, substance abuse violation. A loss of 9. Marcus Allen Spun down again. And the Saints are really fired up. The touchdown scored by Hayward seems to have carried over to the defense, Joe.
Oh, carried over to the defense, carried over to this crowd.
And they're mixing up a little bit.
That's why, I hate, as an offensive player, I hate to stick the ball right at the defense when they're so fired up. On first down, again, they try to running play, and Marcus Allen gets thrown for a loss. Here they're trying to run the ball again, and they get shut down. As an ex-quarterback, I would have loved to have been passing in these situations because you know that defense is so fired up and coming hard. Big Jim Wilkes makes the play to start with, and then Ricky Jackson comes in to clean up, and Pat Swilling and fellas are trying to get that ball away from Marcus, but Marcus won't have any of it.
A loss of 9 on first down, a loss of 4 on second down, so it's third down and 23 for Schrader. From his own end zone. Incomplete. And now another little argument breaks out downfield as the tight end Trey Junkin is jarring with a couple of the Saints. And we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WDSU 6 New Orleans.
Mel Proctor with Joe Namath in New Orleans, 4th and 23, and Jeff Gossett will be running from deep in his end zone. Let's see if they go after it. Lonzel Hill is back deep. Saints are going to have great field position regardless of what happens here. Now they set up for a return. Hill at midfield. Pretty good coverage downfield by the Raiders. Lonzel Hill is tackled at the Oakland 49, but still the Saints will have excellent field position. Jeff Lee making the stop. And we'll return to the Superdome with 10:39 remaining in the third quarter. It's 10-6 New Orleans. You are looking at the Superdome Wall of Fame. Archie Manning, the great Saints quarterback, the first inductee, and the most recent inductee, the late Pistol Pete Maravich, who played with the New Orleans Jazz, also with the Atlanta Hawks. Unfortunately passing away about a year ago due to a heart attack, but a great player who at one time performed some color commentary for NBC. First down for the Saints at the 48 of the Raiders. Dalton Hilliard ripping off a big gainer on first down with a 42. And a scuffle breaking out. Jim Dombrowski, the Saints left tackle, getting into it with Bill Pickel of the Raiders. And that is a true heavyweight matchup.
I think Matt Millen, number 55, was involved in this a little bit, too. Boy. That's a tough game. Tempers flare out there. Don't have a bunch of happy guys on either side. Here you see Millen, number 55, taking some blows from Dombrowski, but Millen has him under control. He has a good left-hand grip on that face mask, just as a smart linebacker should do.
No penalties assessed. And it's second down 4 at the 42. The Saints leading 10-6. Lonzel Hill in motion. Pitch to Hilliard. Good blocking. And Hilliard appears to have the first down yardage. You know, seeing these few scuffles breaking out, Joe, reminded me, we talked to Al Davis yesterday, and I said the Raiders have always had that image of being the tough guys, the guy who'll knock your socks off, the Jack Tatums and people like that, Lester Hayes. And he said, have the Raiders gotten away from that? And he said, yes, we have. Unfortunately, we'd like to reclaim that image, but that's not the case with his current defense. They're not as intimidating as he'd like them to be.
And so Al Davis in the middle of that group up there wearing the glasses, and he's a little frustrated with the way the Raiders have been playing today.
They're short of a first down, so it's 3rd and 1 for the Saints. Hilliard picks up the first down. Pretty good stick by Van McElroy, the Raiders. First down.
Yes, but when you have your free safety making a tackle on a short yardage situation, you know you haven't stopped the other team. McElroy comes up and makes a good play. On the left-hand side at the top of your screen, you'll see number 26 come in and make a good hit on Dalton Hilliard, but not until he already has the first down.
McElroy, a two-time Pro Bowler who returned to action last week against Kansas City and had a couple of interceptions. First out to 35. Hayward, only his 5th carry. He carried 4 times for 82 yards. Last week against Seattle, he carried 9 times for 63 yards. Reggie McKenzie on the stop for the Raiders. But getting back to that intimidation, when you played for the Jets against the Raiders, did you feel that that Raider image was a factor as far as intimidation?
I think their ability was more of a factor than their intimidation. We had men on our side, too, and we weren't afraid of them, but they just had a world of ability over the years.
That was a great rivalry, though.
Oh,
the Jets and the Raiders. Second down, 7. Hebert downfield. Nice comeback effort by Reuben Mays. The pass was underthrown, and Mays came back to get it. It'll be 1st and goal for the Saints. A gain of 25.
Yes, but I tell you, Reggie McKenzie, number 54, the outside linebacker, is in perfect coverage here. He just doesn't get any help from the rest of his team. They don't yell to him, ball, ball. He never turns to look for the ball. Look where he's located. If he turns to play the ball, he possibly has an interception there.
1st and goal at the 7. They don't throw to Mays too often. He had only 2 receptions coming into this game. Hayward is the lone setback. Hebert's pass is knocked down near the goal line. He tried to hit Dalton Hilliard, but was broken up by Russell Carter, former New York Jet.
Carter's a good cover guy. He played cornerback for the Jets most of the time, and in fact all the time. And now he's played the strong safety position. The fans let out a boo as Russell Carter will come from the top of your screen to break this up. And it looks like he made a little contact before the ball may have gotten there. But the official certainly didn't think it was enough to call interference. He was going for the football.
Carter playing in place of Stacy Turan, who's out of the sprained ankle. 2nd and goal at the 7. Hilliard up the middle, touchdown. Hilliard with his 3rd touchdown of the season. They give the Saints a 16-6 lead, and New Orleans is threatening to pull away. They've got the momentum now.
Oh, there was just good blocking inside there. Ironhead Hayward got in there as well to throw a good block.
And Matt Millen steamrolling the kick snapper, Joel Hilgenberg, and they get into a little argument.
Well, sometimes the center will flinch just a little bit.
Number 55, defense, 5-yard penalty will be assessed on the succeeding kickoff.
And sometimes an angry linebacker will just want to take out a little frustration on that center and explode on him. And that's possibly, I think that's what Matt Millen did that last play.
So the penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. Hilgenberg, who centers on kicks, comes from a long line of centers. His dad, Jerry, was an All-American in Iowa. He had 2 brothers who played at Iowa, both centers. Brother Jay now with the Bears, and Uncle Wally was a center and then a great linebacker with the Vikings for many years. And the kick by Morton Anderson is good. So it's 7:51 left in the 3rd quarter. It's now 17-6, New Orleans. Jay Schrader struggling. He's completed only 5 of 17 passes, although he connected with Ruben Fernandez on an 84-yard touchdown pass. Steve Berline, who started the first 4 games. Mike Shanahan be thinking about making a move?
Oh, sure. I mean, Schrader had better stats last week. I think 7 for 17, and they had a lead when he pulled Schrader out. I can't see Schrader going much further than another series of downs before Shanahan might make a change.
It is not an easy task being a Raider quarterback. Just ask Mark Wilson, who was booed soundly in Los Angeles.
Well, Wilson was around a lot longer than Schrader. Schrader still has, I guess if you're looking for an excuse, still has the excuse that he's new to the team, trying to learn a new offense. But again, learning a new offense doesn't cause you to overthrow and miss receivers by 5 and 6 yards. Granted, he had a drop ball the last series, but
Morton Anderson will be kicking off in the 40 rather than the 35 because of the 5-yard penalty assessed on the extra point. That was an encroachment against Matt Millen.
Yeah, like he really needs that extra 5 yards, huh?
He'll put this one in the upper deck. Been doing a great job on kickoffs. Stephon Adams and Vance Mueller are back deep for the Raiders. Despite the 5-yard advantage, a short kick, and Adams will bring this one back. Out to the 19-yard line. Didn't know how to handle that 5-yard edge. 7-play, 48-yard drive. Dalton Hilliard taking it in from 7 yards out. The Saints lead 17-6. Trying to beat the Raiders for the first time ever.
Well, the offense of the Raiders, other than the one big play, and of course when Bo Jackson was in the game, the offense has really been flat.
Schrader remains at quarterback. Steve Strahan, Marcus Allen, the running backs, James Lofton, and Mervyn Fernandez are the wide receivers. The pitch to Allen. And Marcus Allen picks up a first down out to the 32-yard line. Brett Maxey makes the stop for the Saints. Allen has carried 14 times for 72 yards today. Bengals leading Houston 35-14 in the third quarter. Atlanta trying to win one. Up 13-6 against the Giants. That'd be a surprise.
Big surprise.
Steelers beating Denver badly. The Broncos playing without John Elway, was placed on the inactive list. First down for the Raiders at the 32. Schrader's going to put it up. Can't find a receiver. But he's got a first down at the 45. Knocked down from behind by Ricky Jackson, and he may be shaken out.
Well, what happened? Schrader fell on his right arm, on his right shoulder that time, and the way he's holding it, it hurts. Watch this relentless pursuit by number 52nd, 7, Ricky Jackson. He hasn't stopped. Watch, he's going to come back into the play yet. Here he comes. He'll make the tackle. Now watch Schrader fall on his right shoulder.
Jackson just hurdled Roy Graves to get in there and apply the pressure. But it's the first down for the Raiders. Marcus Allen. Allen's got a first down and more to the 39-yard line. Brett Maxey and Jakes combining on the tackle for the Saints.
This play shouldn't have worked. We saw Schrader hurt his arm when he fell down. The Saints obviously saw it. I would think they did. So you don't play pass. You play the run tough here this time. And the Saints didn't jam up the holes. They didn't bring up anyone extra at the line of scrimmage to shut down the run. And Marcus Allen's able to get a big gainer.
5:30 remaining third quarter. The Saints lead 17-6. Allen approaching a 100-yard game. Marcus Allen again trying to get outside, and he took a hit. Ron Johnson leveled him with a forearm.
Big Andy Parker, the tight end for the Raiders, did a pretty good job blocking, but Von Johnson, number 53 on the right side of your screen, will come over with the pursuit to lay the big hit on Marcus Allen. You see Andy Parker fighting with Pat Swilling. Forces him outside, but as soon as Marcus cuts back, boom.
Yeah, Swilling really made that play, preventing him from turning the corner. Second down, 7. Von Johnson, his third year from North Carolina State. Schrader in trouble. Throws it incomplete. Andy Parker, the tight end, was the closest receiver, but Ricky Jackson again was in the Raider backfield. Had an outstanding game. The leader of that dome patrol, the Saint linebackers. Schrader now 5 for 18. Remember, 84 of those yards came on one play.
Yeah, this last play, though, was all Saints defense. They took away the receiver. Jim Mora certainly has to be happy with the way the Saints are playing right now.
Mora, who began his coaching career as an assistant at his alma mater, Occidental College. His teammate and roommate was Congressman Jack Kemp when he played at Oxy. Schrader under pressure, gets it away, and it's off the fingertips of Trey Junkin and incomplete. Brett Maxey in coverage for the Saints. And this maligned Saints secondary has done an excellent job, Joe.
Oh, they have. That last time they got some pretty good pressure with the help of a blitz. And I'm wondering if Shanahan, who's Nick Nicolau, the offensive receiver coach, wondering if Shanahan's going to make the switch to Burline.
Well, it's 4th down now for the Raiders. 4:20 left in the third quarter. Jim Mora felt that this game would be a true test of the Saints' character as the schedule gets more difficult. You can see some of the teams they have beaten.
Only two real decent teams there. That's the Dallas Cowboys and the Seattle Seahawks. Of course, San Diego, Tampa Bay, Detroit, Atlanta. Hey, the Saints are supposed to beat those teams. So they've had an easy schedule to this point. The Raiders are offering a good game, especially defensively. But in the next 7 weeks, I'd say that the Saints are in for some trouble.
But coming up on the schedule, they've got the Redskins, the Giants, the Broncos. All three teams in the Super Bowl the last 2 years. They've also got the Rams twice, the 49ers, and the Vikings. They've got a very difficult schedule. There's Ricky Jackson, who cuts his own hair. I hope so.
I wouldn't have believed that. I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to be the barber to do that to him.
Would you admit to that if you cut your own hair? I think I'd plot it off on somebody else.
It's kind of a takeoff of Mr. T's haircut.
Here are the next 5 opponents for the Saints. Very tough schedule. Now the Raiders are going to go for it on 4th down. It's 4th and 7. How about this? It would have been a 53-yard field goal attempt if they wanted to go for it. And they're going to try to pick up a 1st down, maybe more. Nothing doing. Raiders pass is incomplete. What do you think of that call on 4th and 7?
Well, I don't mind the call so much as I do the miscommunication between Lofton and Schrader. Lofton broke his go pattern to an out pattern, and Schrader went downfield with the ball. So these guys certainly weren't on the same page together.
Meanwhile, Steve Burline pacing the sidelines. He's the 2nd-rated passer in the AFC. He started the first 4 games. 4th-round pick out of Notre Dame, who spent all of last year on injured reserve. Here comes Bobby Hebert as the Saints take over on downs at the New Orleans 36. The Saints leading 17-6.
I'd look for the Saints to really try and get the ball going on the ground now to eat up some of the clock. They have an 11-point lead. I don't think they'll be throwing the ball downfield.
Dalton Hilliard and Craig Hayward are the running backs. Hilliard following Hayward. Out of bounds at the 40-yard line. A pickup of 4 yards on the play as he's chased out by Mike Haynes, the 9-time Pro Bowler who's had a fine year. Hebert, Hilliard, and Hayward, the 3H club.
They've all had a good day today, too. Hebert certainly isn't having the kind of game that he's been having, but hey, when the quarterback's off a little bit, someone else on the offense picks it up, and you can win some games. That's been the problem with the Raiders. They haven't had anyone to pick up the offense except Bo Jackson, and he got hurt early in the game.
2nd down, 5 at the 41. Hilliard. Scrimmage, and that's about it. Mike Wise on the stop, number 90.
Hey, this defensive group of the Raiders has been doing a good job. To the right side of the screen, number 90, Mike Wise, takes on the block by Edelman, sheds him, and then makes the tackle. I think this defense of the Raiders, with the exception of Hayward's run, has done a wonderful job.
setting up a third down situation for the Saints, who lead the league in third down conversions coming into the game, converting over 53%. And it's incomplete. Perriman, the rookie second-round pick from Miami, one of 3 wide receivers for the Hurricanes in the NFL this year. Michael Irvin with the Cowboys and Brian Blades with the Seahawks.
Yeah, Mike Haynes was all over that rookie receiver that time. Haynes with good coverage has been having a good year. In training camp earlier, they had some doubt about him making the team, but hey, he's playing like a young Mike Haynes.
Ryan Hansen has had an outstanding day punting for the Saints. Another booming kick. Stephon Adams will let it hit. And it goes into the end zone for a touchback. Hansen really kicking the ball well today.
And Stephon Adams making a good decision not to catch that ball, too. Boy, it was really tempting to him. He hasn't hurt the Raiders with his returns of punts at all today. In fact, he's helped them. He has to make a decision on whether to let the ball hit or not, and he does, and it goes in the end zone.
And we've got a new quarterback now for the Raiders. So Steve Berline takes over for Jay Schrader, not in the fourth quarter as he did last week, but in the third quarter. With 3:10 left, Berline will try to get this Raider offense moving. Schrader was 5 for 20 for 16 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Berline to Mervyn Fernandez for a pickup of 8 yards. Reggie Sutton, the left quarterback, makes the stop.
Feels good for a quarterback to come in and hit his first pass of the game. Been standing over on that sideline for the last 2.5 hours. You're not as loose as you'd like to be. Haven't been in the flow of the game. To get over that hump in the first play and get a completion, it does a lot for the nervous system.
Berline has thrown 6 touchdown passes. He's been intercepted only twice this year, but has completed just 46.9% of his passes. Both Raider quarterbacks below 50%. 2nd and 1. Marcus Allen. Well, he didn't get the first down, and Joe, it looked like he could have gone straight ahead and picked up 1 yard. That's all he needed.
Yeah, but it's tough to tell a running back when to cut. Ricky Jackson just makes a good play. He sheds Steve Strahan, number 39. Strahan's out there on Jackson to the left side of your screen. But Jackson just throws him aside and comes up and makes the play. Marcus Allen had nowhere to go. You know, you look at replays with the coaches on Mondays and Tuesdays, and you see a runner when he should have made the break maybe, but good runners run instinctively. Sometimes they'll make a wrong decision on when to cut.
3rd down 1. The Raiders converted only 1 of 9 third down situations today. Allen fumbles the football, and the Saints have it. Recovered by Antonio Gibson, who had ideas of taking that into the end zone. Big turnover.
Well, this is the second fumbled handoff. Let's see where the ball hit Marcus Allen. If his cast has anything to do with it. Berline hits him up around the shoulder pads again. I tell you, folks, the shoulder pads come down to the top of the numbers. And when the quarterback jams it up that high, it's going to hit the shoulder pads and bounce off of them. You've got to stick that ball down around his belly button and his gut, not up high, not up there. Bounces away from Marcus Allen. I'm sure the cast on his hand doesn't help.
Antonio Gibson with 2 big plays, recovering a fumble, and earlier he sacked Jay Schrader. First down for the Saints at the 24 of the Raiders. 2:16 left, third quarter. New Orleans leading 17-6. Heber's pass complete to Lonzel Hill. Hill is stopped at the 16-yard line by Ron Fellows, the ex-Dallas Cowboy. Penalty marker down. Holding against New Orleans, indicates Jerry Seaman.
That was a nice call by the Saints, though. The Raiders came up with 11 men on the line of scrimmage or just off the line of scrimmage. They were coming with a blitz that time. Hebert read it, hit the receiver for the gainer.
Illegal hands to the face. Number 70 offense, still first down.
The infraction against right tackle Bill Const, starting in place of Stan Brock, who injured his knee earlier in the week. Talking about him being a man on the spot, in the spotlight. How has he done today, Joe?
I've got to believe he's doing a good job. I haven't heard or called Greg Townsend's name yet today. So you've got to figure that he's over there constantly negating Townsend. He's doing a good job.
First and 20 following the penalty. Dalton Hilliard is the setback. Hebert underneath to his tight end, John Tice. For about an 11-yard pickup. Matt Millen on the tackle. Tice playing in place of the injured Hobie Brenner. The Saints have really lost the entire right side of their line. Steve Trapillo broke his foot in the first game of the season. Brock got hurt earlier this week, and Brenner's been out for 5 weeks with a pulled abdominal muscle.
The Saints have the shortest passing game I've seen. I mean, they insist on taking the short gainer. Now, for a defensive player, when you see pass, you usually start to drop back. And that's why these underneath patterns are so open.
Second down and 9. Hebert to Craig Hayward. Ironhead, a tough man to bring down. He's dropped at the 22 by Reggie McKenzie. How difficult is the transition in Hebert's case from a high-powered, deep-throwing offense, which was employed in the USFL, to this ball control passing game?
Well, it's good to know you can throw deep, to have that history, to be an accomplished long passer. But as a quarterback, the most important thing in the passing game is the offensive line. And so far, he's gotten good protection from his offensive line. So the adjustment doesn't come hard. I mean, it's an easy adjustment to make.
Third down 8 at the 22, the final 20 seconds of the third quarter. Martin picks up the first down. They like to go to Martin on third down. They need a first down, good possession type receiver. He doesn't have the great deep speed of Alonzel Hill, but he's got very sure hands and not afraid to go over the middle of traffic. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The New Orleans Saints 17 and the Raiders 6. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Jim Mora's Saints closing in on their 7th consecutive win. Mora, who's been a winner wherever he has been in the USFL with the Philadelphia Stars, who became the Baltimore Stars. He made the championship game 3 times. The only time he lost was in 1983, and he lost to Bobby Hebert and the Michigan Panthers. He won the title in 84 and 85. Took over a sagging Saints team, went 7-9 the first year, 12-3 last year, and 6-1 so far this season. And Bobby Hebert doing some nifty footwork to get out of trouble. Greg Townsend doing a cartwheel on Hebert.
Well, Hebert can't find an open receiver, and he doesn't put it up for grabs. He's very smart on Hebert's behalf. He's a patient quarterback. He doesn't throw the interceptions. Not as quick a foot as some quarterbacks, but hey, I like this guy. I think he's one of the best right now.
Hebert said, if we keep winning, I could run for office and the people would vote me in, but if we don't win, they'll hang me from the nearest tree. They love him down here. He's a local kid from Cutoff, Louisiana. Went to South Lafourche High School, led his team to the high school state championship. Second down 7. Ball at the 8-yard line early in the fourth quarter. Hayward and Hilliard are the running backs, each scoring a touchdown today. Dalton Hilliard hit initially by the nose tackle Malcolm Taylor. And it'll be third down. First minute of the fourth quarter, the Saints lead 17-6.
Well, it's been all Saints this half, and that first half, the Raiders did a good job of keeping the game tight, even taking the lead there on the big pass play. But the Saints, I guess, when Hayward broke that long run, that really inspired him because they've owned the second half.
Third down 7 at the 8. The Saints could pick up a first down before they get a touchdown. end zone, incomplete. Intended for Robert Clark. That'll bring up fourth down, and the deadly accurate Morton Anderson, who's already hit from 51 yards out, comes on. What a great career he's had, the leading scorer among NFL kickers. Never played football until he came to the United States at the age of 5. And it's interesting, Joe, in practice, he kicks on a smaller goalpost. The uprights are only 9 feet apart rather than 18 feet 6 inches on a normal goalpost. And that might account for some of that accuracy. It's a 25-yard attempt, and it is good. Anderson nails another one, and the Saints lead climbs to 20-6 with 13:23 remaining in the fourth period. Mel Proctor with Joe Namath back at the Superdome. A crowd of 66,249 on hand today. They see the Saints leading 20-6 as Morton Anderson gets ready to kick off. Anderson hitting again from inside the 40. He's made 31 of his last 32 field goal attempts inside the 40-yard line. Stephon Adams, a yard deep, will bring it out. Good coverage once again by the Saints. They have to be pleased with their special teams play today.
Today's game is brought to you by Pontiac. We build excitement. By Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. And by Radio Shack, the technology store.
With 13 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, the Saints lead the Raiders 20-6. Mel Proctor with Joe Namath from the Superdome in Louisiana. Steve Berline at quarterback taking over for Jay Schrader in the third quarter. And his first pass is incomplete, intended for the tight end, Andy Parker. The Raiders don't throw to their tight end nearly as much as they used to under Tom Flores and John Madden. Mike Shanahan has a little different philosophy. In the fourth quarter, the Bengals leading the Oilers 35-21. Cincinnati jumped out to a big lead early in that game. Falcons trying to spring an upset over the Giants. Wade Wilson going to quarterback today for the Vikings. They have a 42-13 lead. The Pats and Bills tied 20 apiece. Detroit and Kansas City, two teams with 2 wins between them. Berline with time and completes the pass to the 30-yard line to Marcus Allen. Steve Berline, a 4th-round pick out of Notre Dame last year. Spent the 87 season on injured reserve. He's a California kid from Anaheim. Played at Servite High School. Same school that produced another pretty fair pitcher, Mike Witt of the California Angels.
Oh, yeah. You know, I can't help but thinking that these Raiders really miss Willie Gault and Tim Brown in their offense right now. But not to mention Bo Jackson.
Allen. Marcus has had a big day. He's brought down to 35. Tim Brown has played briefly. Willie Gault hasn't played at all. Bo Jackson played the first 2 plays of the game, and after ripping off 2 big runs, got hurt.
Well, Marcus Allen just finds a crack and jumps through there. There was good penetration over there by number 73, Frank Warren, but Allen was able to get around him. Boy, good pursuit, huh, by those Saints. 4 of them making the tackle.
Gain is 6. It'll be 2nd and 4. Allen approaching 100 yards. This time they line him out wide to the right. Berline in trouble and down. Berline steps up, guns it downfield. Tim Brown trying to make the catch. He hasn't played much today. He's got a bad knee. Two Notre Damers going head-to-head. Dave Waymer, another former Irish. In fact, we got three of them. Berline and Brown, both from Notre Dame. So is Waymer. All three former Irish.
Frankly, I'm surprised to see Brown in there. And you ask me why. Well, if he's good enough to play now, why haven't we seen him earlier in the game?
He hasn't been used at all at kick returns. He has been used sparingly when they've gone to 3 and 4 wide receivers. Jeff Gossett to kick it away with 11:09 left in the fourth quarter. Low driving kick. Wanzel Hill takes it to the 25. He's got some room. Fine run back by Hill, who's upended to 46 by Steve Strahan. And with 10:57 left in the fourth quarter, the Saints have a 20-6 lead over the Raiders. Just under 11 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The Saints well on their way to their 7th straight win, leading the Raiders 20-6. And hello again, Mel Proctor along with Joe Namath. And the Saints are particularly difficult to come from behind and beat, Joe, aren't they? Because they control the ball so well.
Well, they've had the best second time in the National League behind the Bears this season in controlling the ball. They've been getting good blocking out there. I tell you, Kontz, the man that replaced the injured Stan Brock, has been doing a good job. I think it's going to be very difficult for the Raiders to try and get the ball back and get some points on the board.
And the Saints have no turnovers today. They've done a good job protecting the ball.
That's always the key, especially at a tight game. Anytime you turn the ball over, you're asking for trouble. The Raiders have turned it over twice, and of course the big goose egg down there for the Saints. That means a lot.
The Raiders have 299 total yards, but they trail by 14 points. First down for the Saints at the 45. Hebert with play action and a penalty marker down. Hebert trying to get away from Malcolm Taylor and Matt Millen, who are about ready to snap him in half. Here's Jerry Seaman.
False start prior to the snap, right tackle offense.
You know, I want to lay a little trivia question on our fans, Joe. Now, you know the answer. Who was the New York Jets quarterback prior to the arrival of Joe Namath? And we'll let you think about it a little bit before we give you the answer. Who quarterbacked the Jets before Broadway Joe arrived?
Well, I'll give you the answer. That penalty was called on Kontz that time, by the way. That's the first negative thing I think Bill Kontz has done all day.
We'll give you a hint. The former Jet quarterback is in the stadium today. In uniform. First and 15. Dalton Hilliard following Craig Hayward. Bounces to the outside and is wrestled down to 42. All right, fans, do you give up? Question again, who was the Jets quarterback before Joe Namath arrived? He is in the stadium. He is in uniform. And he's one of the officials, the back judge, Pete Lisk, and maybe we can get a shot of Pete.
All right, let's watch Bill Kontz right now, number 70. Does a good job with Townsend, has some help, and then he seals Lyndon King off, too. The play goes the other way, so it wasn't really a tough job for Kontz to pull off that time.
Second down and 12. There's Pete Lisk, former quarterback of the Jets in the Canadian League with the Broncos, now an official. Preceded Joe Namath for the Jets. Dalton Hilliard bouncing to the outside. That's his strength, his ability to dart, change directions. He's got very quick feet. We've got another Raider player down.
You know, I asked Coach Moore why we haven't seen more of Reuben Mays. He says Dalton Hilliard does everything and does it well. He won't give Mays a chance to get in there and play regularly. That's Mike Wise, number 90 on the ground.
Hilliard has carried 14 times for 45 yards and a touchdown today as Wise is shaken up on the play. Been a tough day for the Raiders. Jerry Robinson bruised ribs earlier in the game. Of course, they lost their left guard, Charlie Hanna. And they have players already injured coming into the game. Howie Long and Stacey Turan. Lionel Washington is banged up. Tim Brown playing briefly despite a bad knee. Willie Gauld is out. Todd Christensen is not in uniform today, so they've really got physical problems. Steve Smith got banged up today, hurt his knee. Other than that, things are great. Third down 5 at midfield. And the pass is complete to Eric Martin for a first down. Look at Robert Clark.
Another one of the short crossing patterns puts Ron Fellows in pursuit right away by taking that short angle across the field. Excellent pass protection. Fellows just cannot keep up with Clark. It's not because Fellows lacks the speed, it's the angle that Clark takes on the short crossing pattern.
Clark in his second year out of North Carolina Central. He was a 10th round pick last year and spent most of the season on injured reserve with a bad leg. 9:20 remaining fourth quarter. The Saints lead 20-6. First down to 42. Craig Hayward, who really broke this game open on the first play from scrimmage to open the second half. He went 73 yards for a touchdown. And it looks like the left guard, Brad Edelman, is shaken up. But you could just feel the game turn on that one play by Hayward, couldn't you?
Oh, it got all the momentum going back in the Saints' favor. But it's a good game they're having there with New England and Buffalo.
Pittsburgh leading the Broncos. Denver playing without John Elway. And here in New Orleans, we have 9:05 left. The Saints with a 20-6 lead. Final score, the Lions outlasting the Chiefs in a high-scoring offensive affair. We'll be right back. It was a 73-yard run by Craig Hayward on the first play from scrimmage to open the second half that broke this game open. Hayward's first NFL touchdown. And the momentum swung to the Saints on that long run. They lead 20-6 with 8:49 left, fourth quarter. Second down 6 for New Orleans at the 38 of the Raiders. Hayward brought down to 35, a gain of 3 yards. Let's take a look at that 73-yard jaunt by Hayward. Matt Millen had a shot at stopping him, Joe.
Oh, sure, the whole Raider defense closed down the hole, but Hayward with this quickness, quicker foot, he bounces outside and runs right over Rod Fellows, and watch him turn on his speed. Look at this, 260-some-odd pound fullback. That is amazing. And he's a fine pass receiver and blocker to boot. This guy's got a big future in the NFL.
And I'm curious, Joe, you know, that was a great run granted, but what is that insignia on the Saints helmet? That's been bothering me all day. What is that thing?
I'll bet that bothers a lot of football fans. We'll get to that after this play.
Joe busily flipping through his encyclopedia trying to find the answer as Abraham throws underneath, incomplete for Lonzel Hill. Okay, Joe, care to explain that?
Well, yes, what it's called is a fleur-de-lis. You know, I always thought it was some kind of a spear or something on the side of their helmet, but it's a flower. Now, me, I've never heard of a football team wearing flowers on the side of their helmet, or any sports team wearing a flower. Well, I'd have figured that team would have been a bunch of sissies to have flowers on their helmet, but these guys are good.
You know, Joe, now that you mention it, I'll bet the fleur-de-lis was some kind of a symbol used in the court of French kings.
Well, it certainly was. I'll buy that, since we did get Louisiana from the French.
Brian Hansen to punt on fourth down. Gets a little bit too much foot into this one. It'll go into the end zone. I wonder if we took a poll of Saints players, how many could answer that question? What is on the side of your helmet? Who cares as long as we win and get paid? So with 7:38 remaining in the fourth quarter, the Saints are in good shape, leading 20-6. Remember, coming up second half of our doubleheader, the Jets in Miami. Jets playing without Mark Gastineau, who left the club to be with his fiancée, Brigitte Nielsen, who unfortunately is ill. Seattle playing at the Rams. Bernie Kosar back for the Browns. They'll be in Phoenix. Football League rules require that we present away games starting with the opening kickoff. The stations in the team's home area, so viewers in Seattle and Indianapolis will be leaving this game in a few minutes for a telecast involving your home team. However, we'll continue to bring you reports on this game as well as an update on the fleur-de-lis to keep you up to date. The injured Saint is left guard Brad Edelman, a Pro Bowler last year. And Jim Mora, despite his team's success, has to be concerned about his offensive line. They were down to 7 healthy offensive linemen coming into this game, and now Edelman goes out. He's been replaced by Darren Gilbert when the Saints have the ball. They do have some flexibility, though. Gilbert can play either guard or tackle. The center court can play center or guard, so they've got guys who can play a couple of positions. 2nd and 10 for the Raiders. Steve Berline's pass is complete. James Lofton, who hasn't been heard from much today, for a gain of 8. Lofton coming into this game as the 9th leading receiver all time, and that is his first reception of the game.
Well, I'll tell you, it's not the fault of James Lofton. The man's a great receiver. They just haven't been going his way. They haven't gotten the ball around him to make the catch. You get that ball anywhere around Lofton, and James is going to come down with it more times than not.
Raiders have 4 wide receivers averaging better than 20 yards per reception, but they have difficulty getting the ball to them. Schrader struggled for 3 quarters, and now Berline is in there. 3rd and 2. Berline downfield, incomplete. Certainly those of you in Seattle will be leaving us to watch the Indianapolis game, and we will keep you informed of the game throughout the rest of the afternoon on NFL Live. Also, those of you in Indianapolis will be leaving us. Well, the picture looking rather bleak for the Raiders as Jeff Gossett comes in to punt his 7th kick of the day. The Saints, I believe, proving something today, proving that they're real against a pretty good football team despite the injuries. Lonzel Hill calling for the fair catch. The Saints have begun this drive at the 22. A remarkable turnaround here in New Orleans, Joe, and you think back to a few years ago when fans were so discouraged they were wearing paper bags on their heads and the team was referred to as the Aints. Now it's tough to get a ticket. Their next 2 home games are sold out. They're on the verge of winning their 7th straight. Well, the Giants have come back to tie Atlanta in the 4th quarter, 16 all. New England and Buffalo still deadlocked in the 4th period.
You don't have to say these Raiders, even though they may suffer the 5th loss this season, they haven't lost any chumps, you know. They've lost to Cincinnati, a good ball club, a playoff ball club. The Rams will lose to the Saints today, possibly. Miami Dolphins is a good team, and the Houston Oilers. So they've been beaten by quality teams down the line.
Another solid performance from Bobby Hebert this afternoon. Mistake-free, that's the key, and the pitch to Dalton Hilliard. Saints playing ball control now, something they do so well. And we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
WDSU 6 New Orleans.
Bobby Hebert gives a lot of credit to former Buffalo Bills quarterback Joe Ferguson, who used to come down to Northwest Louisiana where Bobby played and worked with the quarterbacks. Said he taught me as much as anybody about how to play this game. Second down, 7 at the 25. Saints leading 20-6. Time a factor now with 6:27 left. Craig Hayward out to the 31. Last time the Raiders played here at the Superdome was in January of 1981, Super Bowl 15, as we look back. Of course, in that same month of 1981, the hostages returned from Iran. But the Raiders polishing off the Philadelphia Eagles here at the Superdome, and Ronald Reagan was inaugurated as president, all in January of 1981. Joe Namath is trying to remember where he was in 1981. I can see that look in your eye. When you get the answer, let me know. Back to live action. Here comes Reuben Mays. Mays out of bounds with 5.5 remaining in the game. Chased out by Russell Carter.
Well, it's 4th down. They're going to be forced to punt. Now, you can't count the Raiders out. They still have some explosive people over there on the offense, even though today they haven't shown much of it. Of course, they had the long touchdown to Fernandez, so they're capable. They're just 2 touchdowns behind the Saints, and they can get one as fast as any team.
Stephon Adams awaiting the kick from Brian Hansen, who's had a fine afternoon. Gets a favorable bounce. And Brooks is out of bounds. You know, what could prove to be a big key if the Raiders could get close to the fact that they had an extra point blocked. Fernandez scored on an 84-yard pass from Jay Schrader, but then the extra point by Chris Barr was blocked.
Yeah, that does a lot for the Saints defense. They know the best the Raiders could do is get a tie right now, so the Saints are going to play it loose and force the Raiders to try and use up some of the clock with the underneath stuff. What you want to do as a defensive back for the Saints is not get beaten deep. Let him catch the pass underneath, but don't let him run by you.
5:22 left, fourth quarter. The Saints lead 20-6. First down for the Raiders. The Los Angeles 31. Steve Berline underneath, incomplete. Trying to hit Marcus Allen. Berline has completed only 3 of 8 passes.
If he keeps getting pass protection like that, he's not going to complete anymore. I mean, Ricky Jackson nearly takes his head off. He didn't have a lot of time to set up here. He's trying to go short, but here comes Mr. Jackson, 57. Oh, my goodness, that hurts.
But it's difficult to pick an MVP. Jackson has excelled on defense. Hayward has close to a 100-yard rushing game and broke it open with that 73-yard run. Hebert has played well. 2nd and 10. Berline underneath. Complete to Tim Brown, the Heisman Trophy winner, who played very little today, and he's brought down to 36. That's his first reception. Ricky Jackson and Van Jakes combining on the stop. If Brown had started the game, and he would have, but for the injury, the Raiders would have started 3 Heisman Trophy winners: Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen, and Tim Brown.
You know, what I don't understand is why he's in the game now. Of course, he's leaving the field. It's my belief, if you're well enough to play at this stage of the game, why weren't you well enough to play at the beginning of the game?
I'm with you. 3rd down 3, 4:36 left. Marcus Allen trying to pick up the 3 yards. And he appears to have it. Ricky Jackson on the tackle for the Saints. I mentioned those 3 Heisman Trophy winners. The Raiders have had 2 others in their history: Jim Plunkett and Billy Cannon, who showed up yesterday at the Raiders practice to renew his friendship with Al Davis. Cannon, a great collegiate star at LSU. Marcus Allen now over 100 yards, 20 carries for 101 yards today. First down with 4 minutes left, but the Raiders have got to get on the board quickly. Berline downfield for Fernandez, and Fernandez makes the no, he couldn't hold on. Yes, he did. It's a reception. A moment of indecision there by Pete Lisk, but finally ruling that he made the catch.
Well, the defensive back is back there. Fernandez just makes a great catch. Credit Berline for getting the ball in the right place. Do you see the defensive back? He has Fernandez beaten. Jakes is in good position there to make the interception, but Fernandez outplays him for the ball. Okay, that Fernandez, I mean, he's 6'3", 195. At 6'3", he can get up there because Jakes, he only goes 6 foot. He just flat out jumped him.
Gain of 49. It's 1st and goal at the 9. Big play for the Raiders. Berline's pass picked off by Ricky Jackson. Jackson is brought down to 20. What a game he's played. That's Ricky's first interception of the season.
Well, he's in the right place. Actually, the receiver's open. Berline throws the ball behind him a little bit, right into Jackson's arm. And the boys with the flowers on their hat are going on to victory today.
The 3rd Raider turnover of the game.
You can see he's wide open going across the middle, but the ball's badly thrown behind him right into Jackson's arm. Berline certainly would love to have that one back.
Steve Strahan was the intended receiver. And Rex Stewart, the umpire, almost got decked again. Did you see him in the middle?
Get out of the way. Oh, my goodness.
He's already been nailed twice today. Here comes Ironhead. Craig Hayward. What a durable back he is. 3 times last year at Pitt. He carried 40 or more times. And in every game last season for the Pitt Panthers, he rushed for 100 yards or more. But defensively, this man has been a major part of the story today. Ricky Jackson. Hayward now has gone over 100 yards. 10 carries for 106.
But you know, you're a Raider coach. You can't help but wonder, when are things going to turn around? I mean, I had my receiver open that time. The quarterback throws the ball behind him. They're only 14 points down. They were in great shape to get back into this game.
3 minutes remaining. 2nd and 2. Eric Martin in motion. Ruben Mays. He's got the first down.
Ruben Mays getting a good hold from his offensive line, enough to give him the first down anyway. Matt Millen, 55, kind of overruns the play, and Mays cuts back behind the pursuit, finds a hole enough to get the first. That's all he needs.
Ruben Mays from North Battleford, Saskatchewan, Canada. Coach of the Edmonton Eskimos, Hugh Campbell, who later coached the Oilers, sent a tape of Mays playing in high school. A Washington State's head coach who liked the tape, offered him a scholarship, and went on to become two-time Offensive Player of the Year in the Pac-10. First down for the Saints as they control the football as they approach the 2-minute mark. Mays again. Gain of 2 yards for Ruben Mays. Matt Millen on the stop. Bring us down to the 2-minute warning. Who dat in first place? The Saints. Bobby Hebert, number 3. Ricky Jackson, number 57, both figuring prominently in this Saints victory. And with 2 minutes remaining, New Orleans well on their way to their 7th straight win, leading the Raiders 20-6. This man has his dancing shoes on. Saints owner Tom Benson eagerly awaiting the Benson Boogie celebrate his Saints victory. Oh, he's a terrific guy, very personable. You and I visited with him at practice yesterday, and his team doing an outstanding job, and he gives all the credit to Jim Moore and his staff.
Yeah, and I think Jim Finks has to be mentioned in there too. Yep. Finks helped build this team. Of course, the general manager.
Left, the Saints, this one pretty well wrapped up. Craig Hayward, who broke the game open with a 73-yard touchdown run to open the second half. He's rushed for over 100 yards today. And defensively, Ricky Jackson has had a tremendous game.
You know, we mentioned Jim Finks. I understand Ahmad Rashad did a story with him today on how he put this Saint team together. And Finks has had a history of success in the NFL. It was one of the best moves he made, of course, to bring Jim Moore and his staff here to the Saints.
Jim Finks, a former pro quarterback with the Steelers, and successful with the Bears and the Vikings as an executive, now doing the same thing with the Saints. So check our report card.
Well, not very impressive statistics for Hebert, but efficient enough. No turnovers right there, no interceptions and no fumbles. And look at Hayward with a 10-yard plus average. I mean, that's remarkable.
Hayward said, when little kids are playing in their backyards pretending to be Larry Zonka and Earl Campbell, I want one of them to step forward and say, hey, I'm Ironhead. That may happen tomorrow.
I know Al Davis downplays the percentage of completions by his quarterback, but look, they come into this game only completing 45% of their passes. Today, they're only completing 33% of their passes. You can't win in the National Football League with that kind of completion percentage. They've got to do something offensively, either get the tight end back into the passing game, change their scheme, or what? There's Jim Finks right there on the left with the red tie. But the Raiders have got to do something with their offensive scheme to get the passing attack going.
Who will be the starter next week against Kansas City, Schrader or Berline?
Schrader.
At least for the first half. Dalton Hilliard on the carry. Raiders have one timeout left. The Saints have 3 remaining. Matt Millen and Van McElroy on the stop for the Raiders.
You know, this quarterback controversy that the Raiders are having now, I think it's more controversial for the fans rather than the team, because the players on the Raiders team know that Schrader is their man. He's the guy that's going to lead them the rest of the season. It's just a matter of Schrader. Once again, I keep saying this, he's got to work off the rust. He's got to get used to the system.
Jim Moore very cautious going into this game. He was very worried about the Raiders' outside speed and Bo Jackson, but Jackson got hurt early in the game. The Saints put so much pressure on Schrader and Berline, they weren't able to get the ball deep. And the Saints have this one pretty well wrapped up.
Well, the Raiders are playing without Galt, too, and Tim Brown they put in late. So offensively, they didn't have the weapons they'd like to have. And remember, Charlie Hanna, one of their best pass protectors and run protectors at left guard, injured his foot, broke his foot early in the game.
Saints trying to win their 7th straight against the AFC. 1:10 remaining, fourth quarter. The Saints ahead 20-6. Bobby Hebert drops to a knee. Well, it's certainly difficult to pick a most valuable player this afternoon, but we had to do that. And our selection is Craig Hayward, the rookie running back from Pitt, who rushed for over 100 yards. Ran 73 yards for a touchdown. It really broke this game open to start the second half. And Ironhead Hayward is our Budweiser most valuable player. Bud will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's game. But realistically, you could have selected Ricky Jackson, Bobby Hebert. Been a solid team effort by this New Orleans team. 22 seconds left. So the Saints are going to come away with their 7th straight win, their 16th in their last 17 regular season games, and their first win ever against the Raiders. So the final score from the Superdome this afternoon, the New Orleans Saints 20 and the Los Angeles Raiders 6. And it's time for the Benson Boogie. Get down, Mr. Benson. Well, the Saints win it by a score of 20-6, and we'll be right back.